The opportunity to come here to Alabama, knowing this program and what the history was all about, but it just felt like, this is something that was too good of an opportunity, and it's just been an awesome experience here these first 3 to 4 months.
Flash through the garden gates, lips wet with language, no violent memory, no simple precedent, and I know it's true.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Bussin with the boys. This is episode 274. The boys just got back from the University of Alabama. And what were we driving while we were there, Willie? What did we go down? What are we on the highway hitting? And we made it there.
Chevy Silverado. Boys, this is a Chevy truck podcast. Chevy trucks are the greatest trucks ever built, and our good friends at Chevrolet have been a big part of the Bussin family, and even in our personal lives. You guys know I flex every week. I got the ZR2. The Chevy Silverado, longtime awesome partner of the show, a truck with commanding and unstoppable grit, legendary capability, and dependability too. So find out for yourself, like so many of our boys do. Head to Chevy.com, check out all the Chevy truck grit, build your own Silverado, and check out what current offers are out there during Chevy truck season for do-it-yourself projects, DIY, to off-road trips, off-road adventures, tailgates, whatever your thing is. It all starts with a Chevy truck.
I will say I used a Chevy this weekend to move. That thing rides smooth.
Why are you saying I drove a Chevy this weekend? Whose Chevy did you drive?
I drove Will's Chevy.
Yes, sir.
He
Yes, sir.
He was kind enough to let me use it to move this weekend, and it fit all of my big stuff, like my bed and my dresser and all that stuff, and it was like riding on a cloud.
It's nice, right?
It was really nice.
Bro, I told him the only stipulation, because I got a text. I was like, he's like, hey, I put the boxes by your garage. And I was like, the only stipulation I need, the only payback I need is for you to get rid of those boxes. You know, your boy, I get lazy at times. Boxes, one of my Achilles heels. So I had it was like a back extension box. It's been in there
Since December.
Yeah.
And I also put $20 of gas and cleaned out your car a little bit too.
I did notice, and I thank you for that.
Yeah.
What was that little thing that you put in the cup holder? That little black, it was like a black leather looking piece.
Oh, I don't know. That was on the floor.
Okay. I didn't know if like something happened. You're like, oh, let me just put this here.
No,
he might know what it is.
I told all my buddies that were helping me move, I'm like, do not fuck this truck up, because it is my life if it is.
It drives like a dream.
It does.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Going into Will's truck is like walking into a time capsule of the year prior.
Yeah.
Well, you can literally find all the stuff, everything you need,
All last
every
year's
piece of merch that's ever come out, every sample of merch that's ever come out, old files. I'm pretty sure I saw Will's last 3 years of tax returns in his truck last time I was in there. It's incredible. The amount of storage you can put in that ZR2.
Yeah. And it's a quick boy too. It's a performer.
Yeah.
It gets going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we start, I do want to shout. Oh, you had
Go ahead.
something?
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I want to shout out. Tornadoes hit Nebraska and Iowa over the weekend. Some bad ones. There's video footage out there. They were crazy. And so we did a t-shirt fundraiser to raise money where 100% of our net proceeds are going to, I think there's 4 local charities in Nebraska, and then there's going to be a local one in Iowa. And shout out to everybody who showed up and bought a shirt and donated. We raised $50,000, almost $60,000 combined between Nebraska and Iowa. And not only that, who I want to shout out is a couple of our sponsors, because look, I know we do a lot of ads at times and it can be annoying, but honestly, without you guys showing up and without your guys' support, the brand awareness that we have and the brand loyalty that we have, we are with a couple partnerships, Duke Cannon and True Classic. And the moment that we had posted about the t-shirt donation going up, the True Classic CEO hit up Taylor and myself wanting to send boxes of shirts and clothing to these local charitable spots. And then Duke Cannon also hit us up wanting to send, like, they have these gun cases where they put a bunch of products, soaps, deodorant, hygienic products. Is that right? Hygienic hygienic products, and they're wanting to ship stuff. So not only did we raise a bunch of money to send to these local charities, also resources and supplies from Duke Cannon and True Classic are going to these spots as well. So I just want to shout out those partnerships that we're in, because I thought that was major. Them, seeing the boys post about the shirts and them wanting to get involved. It was awesome. It was really cool to see. So I just want to shout them out.
The thing that's wild about those two sponsors coming out of the woodwork, it's not like we reached out to them and we're like, you need to do X, Y, and Z. That text from Ryan at True Classic just came in a group chat with it was literally like a book. Like that text you get when you're out with the boys from your girlfriend that makes you nervous, that big of a text.
Yeah.
And it was essentially like, these are the resources you guys have that we can give, blah, 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 all these things. It was really cool to see. And that is, like Will said, we have a lot of sponsors sometimes. But,
and Ryan's like, this is what a partnership looks like. And it just fires you up that, the boys show up.
I'm wearing all True Classic stuff today.
You look great. You've been doing nothing but repping the True Classic.
I love it.
You finally found some jeans that
finally
fit
it's
you
been,
nice.
It's been my whole entire life.
Yeah.
My whole entire life. 13th Christmas. Got some tight jeans. My brother got a pair of tight jeans and I was like fired up about it. This was like when tight jeans were hitting the rage. Everyone was all about it.
Yeah.
And I got a pair and I put those boys on. They didn't go past my kneecaps. I was so upset. I thought I was about to change the game at my middle school that next day and it did not work out for your boy. So thank you to True Classic on that situation as well. Dude, the tornadoes were wild because I heard obviously the Nelk boys. Did you see their Instagram?
I saw their stuff going on too.
And I saw that they're like, hey, we're going. I thought they said Kansas, but they're like, we're going to, I thought they said Oklahoma. We're going, there's like the worst storm in 10 years. We're going to go tornado chase. And I was following along because that was some interesting stuff. And I'm seeing all these insane tornadoes. And then like 20 minutes later, I go in the bird and you're like,
bro,
Nebraska has been destroyed.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
Because I'm looking at their stuff kind of after the Nebraska stuff's going on. And I'm kind of thinking like, I get their storm chasing, but people are losing. People are like losing everything.
Everything.
Which is, couple different worlds happening at the same time.
Have you ever seen a tornado in your life?
Not close at all like that, but obviously Missouri, that we get quite a few tornadoes, but I've never actually seen one swirling like in front of my eyes. You just know when one touches down, like Nashville a few years ago when one touched down here in East, like you hear the sirens and everything else, but I'm not visually seeing anything. You just, the damage that those things fucking do.
Dude, I remember I was in that Georgetown house when that tornado hit. Yeah. And we're like, Taylor and I were going to bed. And she was looking on Instagram. She's like, oh, there's a lot of like tornado warnings tonight. And I was like, we'll be fine. Nothing's going to happen. I literally went to sleep. I slept through the alarms and everything. I had no idea. We could have died.
Yeah.
Could have absolutely died. Woke up and that was a crazy situation.
Yes, bro. They fucking, yes. It's a good thing. I feel like I've never actually seen one, because then you feel like you're a little close. It would be cool to kind of see one in action, but obviously if it's like in a field somewhere.
In a controlled environment.
Yeah.
A field that no one cares about. It's like state land or something
right,
like that.
Right. Like, damn, look at that.
And the most politically correct way you could possibly say it, we'd love to see a tornado. Because it would be cool to go storm chasing.
But because, it's like you and your old man. My dad all the time, he'd be like, guys, everybody's rushing down to the basement, but my old man's like standing outside wanting to see the storm. And you're kind of curious, like, oh yeah, how close? Yeah. It's like everybody's attracted to getting as close as you can to death without actually experiencing it.
Right. And go to Arizona, there's no tornadoes or nothing like that.
Have you outside of Nashville, was Nashville your first one?
Nashville's my first time ever like experiencing the thought of a tornado coming near me.
Yeah.
I think in Michigan one time there was like a siren that went off, but there was never a tornado that touched down.
Yeah.
I thought that was a myth.
It's like that Midwest area. Oklahoma's like Tornado Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe people live there.
Yeah.
It's a crazy, you live in that area and it happens every single year.
Yeah.
You just know right around April, May, things are coming down the pipe.
It's tornado season.
That you can't control.
Yeah.
Just wild, dude. Absolutely wild.
Other things on the weekend, the NFL draft took place. How do you feel like the boys in Two-Tone Blue did?
I didn't know how to feel if I'm going to be as transparent as possible. When that first round was going down, we were up in Chicago. I was praying, crossing my fingers for Joe Alt. Obviously, the Chargers take Joe Alt. And I thought, okay, the next guy to get is that Olaf Fashanu kid from Penn State, because J.C. Latham really wasn't on my radar. The only thing I knew about J.C. Latham is this: 4th and 5, Michigan versus Alabama. And I saw this kid at the combine, and I thought, for how big this man is, he moves really well. But he played right tackle. We have a right tackle. So when I saw that pick come through, my first reaction was, fuck, man. Did we get the right guy? And I worried because I have not postpartum, PTSD from Isaiah Wilson. And these top tier SEC schools. We all know, like the top tier schools, The top
And
5
also
schools.
like Warmack too, yeah.
yeah. Unfortunately,
He was a guard.
He was a guard. He was the pick before me. He was the pick the year before me, 10th overall. But like these top 5 college schools, they get a silver spoon shoved way up their ass, Michigan included. Don't get me wrong, but like, and you're kind of like, your hand is held through absolutely everything. So you get worried about guys. But luckily, we were at the University of Alabama last week, right before the draft, and we got to talk to Tyler Booker. And that guy's conversation, how he held himself, talking about leadership, talking about speaking things into existence, just like the process. And where he learned that was IMG Academy.
Which is, shout out that.
Shout out IMG Academy, Bradenton, Florida. I actually trained there for the combine, and they were kind of like, they weren't fully finished with everything, but it's an establishment.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be the best, you need to go there. If you have the opportunity, you have the skill set to be one of the best, that's the school you need to go to. And he was talking about how they literally have classes on leadership.
Yeah.
So JC Latham, the
Personal
first thing I do is I hit up the wiki, and I see that this kid went to IMG, texted JP the next day, like, give me everything you know about JC Latham. And he's like, checks all the boxes. So that fires me up now. The only thing that worries me is I don't know what he played at IMG, whether it was right tackle or left tackle. And I know he played right tackle starting for 2 years. Started 2 years at Alabama at right tackle. And we need a left tackle. So hopefully, for me personally, that's like the hardest thing in the world to do is to switch. It's like riding with your opposite hand. And that's just how my body works. But I've been around other guys that can literally jump from one side to the next, no problem at all. So
are they looking at putting him at starting him at left tackle?
yeah, I think they came out and they're like, he's our left tackle.
If there's a coach to do it, man, it's Bill Callahan.
No question.
I'm telling you, this dude. At times you sit back as a vet and you're like, man, you're basically like reliving their college days working with this guy. But he is a O-lineman whisperer.
Yeah, but I think
he's young. It's
Yeah.
like him and Skoronski. He's got like a younger room, a couple of vets that are early in their second contracts and everything else, to where you don't have like an age vet who's kind of like maybe resistant to that type of coaching, that type of style. I feel like Coach Callahan having like a younger room who are going to be the starters, he'll be able to mold them the way, he's wanting to mold them for the offense.
I've never met him personally, but an O-line room is like the most unique room in the entire on the football team. Everyone is so close. There's so many of you on the field at one time, and there has to be like some sort of gel or some sort of chemistry between all 5 of you and the entire room. And who sets the tone is the offensive line coach.
Yeah.
So I hope Callahan's in there.
And he sets the tone. The stories at the cafeteria table in Washington with the boys from the O-line room, how they just kind of sit, your assholes tight, because he just runs through the tape like he is the leader of the O-line room.
Great.
It'd be like, shitty, can't play for me. Can't play for me. Can't do it. You got to get fucking better hands, like all this stuff. I kind of sound like he's Italian. He's not Italian at all, but he does kind of have.
You sound like that the Eagles coach.
Which one?
What's the name of the Eagles offensive line coach? Dude, I met him at the combine. He was awesome too, but he literally talks just like that.
Yeah, but
and he's been there forever. Yeah, Jeff Stoutland.
He owns the room,
this
bro.
dude's an OG also. He's a stud. But yeah, that's what you want, dude. You want an older, heavier set guy running your O-line room that has like 10 key phrases he says on a consistent basis, where all the offensive linemen can go behind his back and make fun of the way he talks.
Yeah.
If you have
yes,
you've got the first piece of the puzzle for the boys.
And that is what they have.
Yes.
Because it's not like a disrespectful, like if Coach Callahan walked up on the conversation, it'd be very much, he runs that room.
Yes.
He runs that room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Biggest surprise has to be the Michael Penix.
Yes, dude.
The Michael Penix grab.
That is like the number one, I guess we'll see, pick of all time. Because I understand the thought process of what they're doing, because the Packers, right? Packers have done this for I don't know, since they've been a franchise, it seems like, with Favre going into Rodgers going into Love, and having that type of success that they've had. But the Falcons have so many holes. The Packers, it seems like forever, have had a team established. Like they've had, okay, we have a core wide receiver team. We have a core running backs. We have core defense. We know who our core guys are. We're pretty put together. We just got to make sure a quarterback is always waiting in the back lines, ready to go.
Yeah.
With the Falcons, it's like every news article coming out about the Falcons going into this draft was they haven't had a rusher since Jonathan Abraham. They haven't had a guy. They haven't had somebody that goes in, rushes the power. Someone you got to worry about, a war daddy that you're like, boys, we have to block this guy.
Yeah.
And so
and
everyone's
you
like,
pay $100 million guaranteed to Kirk Cousins. You're like, you're going in this season to win right now.
to win right now.
Yes.
And so why not add that piece of the puzzle? And I feel bad for Michael Penix Jr. because the kid is an incredible talent. He's gone through a bunch of adversity. He's had a couple of knee surgeries, but he still is extremely athletic, extremely able to move so well, can put balls on an absolute dime. He was throwing to aliens. But Like you see him all the way up until the national championship, dice people up left, right, and center. And he played on a team that was an underdog team for, I don't know, 8 of their 12 games.
And he can make all the throws, like his pocket awareness and just feeling like when somebody's there and he can make awkward throws. I just feel bad because he's going to be like, well, he's 24 now, probably going to be like 26. Depending on how Kirk
is 26 when he'll get his first start if Kirk Cousins plays out the remainder of next year's season.
Right. Because another thought too, I think Dan Orlovsky was talking about it, that other angle of having somebody to kind of groom and waiting in the wing when Kirk is done, but also they think that they'll be competitive and play good over the next couple of years, that they would have a lower back half pick. And if you're trying to get a quarterback for the value, that's why they picked him at 8, because they feel like they're going to be later in the draft because they're going to be good. But the counter argument to that was, but if you're trying to win right now and you think you got your quarterback, why not surround him with weapons right now and not even worry about playing this long game of chess? But I guess, man, I guess we'll see in a couple of years. JP, how do you feel being an Atlanta Falcon?
I love it. I love seeing Michael Penix in the city of Atlanta. I did see a hilarious tweet.
Hang on a second. I think.
Yeah, I'm not hearing you.
Oh man, G's got the bad one.
I love it. I love seeing Michael Penix in the city of Atlanta, and I think the toughest part is the injury history he has, but it's also like Kirk. He is older. Imagine Kirk goes down. Obviously, that would suck, but like. He's an older quarterback. The risk is higher with him. He goes down. Now you do have Michael Penix back there. And black left-handed quarterbacks in Atlanta.
Dogs are scared.
We're back. Yeah.
We said we're back.
Humans are back. Dogs are not.
Dogs are not. I saw this one photo. It was like the dog perked up, eyes wide open.
Yeah.
Like Atlanta Falcons draft draft a black quarterback left-handed. All dogs around Atlanta just perked up. It was hilarious.
What doesn't make you feel good is the video of blank talking with the GM.
And his GM obviously is trying to give his reason why he did it.
But also we don't know what's said.
True.
We don't know what's said. We're just assuming.
But we can read
body language. Does a lot.
Do you feel like, though, if you're going to take a quarterback 8 overall, like that high in the draft, like the owner wouldn't be privy to that before it happened?
You would think so, but
you know
just watch the body language of this clip, and you think, no, he had no fucking clue.
He's pitching his ass off. Here's the thought process.
Do you guys want to, at least one of y'all, take a chance at trying to say what he's saying on here and do a little
lip read? Yeah, but before you do that, hold on. I want to have one more statement about Penix because I saw this take, and it's not my original take, but I do agree with it, is when they brought Jordan Love into the Packers behind Aaron Rodgers. If you look at Aaron Rodgers' gameplay, it shot through the absolute roof. And it just made both guys way better. So Kirk Cousins might be pissed. And Aaron Rodgers was noticeably mad about the situation. Kirk Cousins' team has come out and said that he's pissed about it. This could be something that like truly just elevates Kirk's game.
Competition.
Because everyone shits on Kirk for his whole career. He's only won one playoff game. But he's made all this money, blah, 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 blah. Now, I feel like this might be that little extra juice for Kirk. And he's coming off an Achilles, which is a very difficult injury to come off of. And so you just draft a guy who's had knees, not Achilles. All right, let's get to this.
All right, who's gonna
Put your headphones on, Taylor, and stop playing with that wire.
And do what?
Stop messing with that wire.
All right, my bad.
I think Taylor should be the GM.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Okay, that's just them talking.
Way
so
too
I'm gonna take
loud.
that off.
Yeah, way too loud.
That was insane.
I don't think you need it because it's gonna be the draft.
Yeah, it's literally them
over it.
talking.
All right,
Go ahead.
you can watch.
you're
it once.
coming in. You're coming in to ask me. Are you trying to watch the video through first?
I'm trying to watch the video through.
When you look at the $100 million we gave Kirk,
Yeah.
we print money. This is printing money.
Yeah.
America prints
You've
money.
done
You
that.
see, you see the debt. Now, when you look at Jordan Love, what the Packers did with Jordan Love, they sat him for a couple of years. I know he was 21. You're saying he's 24. He might not play till he's 26. But listen to me. If we're competitive for a couple of years now and we have a later pick in the draft, we just got this quarterback early in the draft, and he can be our future. Have a couple years to play with him. That 5th-year option, you can sneak it on him. You can sneak it on him any which way because he doesn't have 4 years of film. He's only got 2 years of film. So you can throw that 5th-year option on him, and we're gonna be in the green if we're competitive.
Do you think he's like doing the little hand thing. Do you think we have the talent that the Packers had when they brought in Jordan Love? That's what Blank's saying.
Yeah, but I personally have no clue. You got Kyle Pitts. Coach, that's a great question. Now, receiver wise, we got what is it, Kenyon Drake?
No, Drake London.
My fault, Drake London. Coach, you look at it. We got Drake London. We got Kyle Pitts. Now, I know he wasn't getting a whole lot of separation, but that's why we brought in Coach Morris. Teach these guys to be athletic, quick on your feet.
Teach these guys to be athletic.
Get some separation. We added Bijan Robinson. So we got the talent. We got the horses that Kirk can feed it to and Penix can learn from. And also the competition. The cream rises to the top. Aaron Rodgers was pissed off. Jordan with Jordan Love right behind him. Kirk Cousins is now pissed off. We flustered their whole camp. This is going to lift the ships of everybody.
You said twice as many words this whole entire video. Arthur Blank literally makes one comment the whole time. And you know, like, this video is great, but what the video doesn't capture is Arthur Blank getting his attention. Like, hey, let me talk to you for a second over here.
Just taps him on the shoulder and he just starts going PowerPoint presentation. You look at here, you look at there.
You know, he brought that pick. He was like, held it to he called Michael Penix, and he's like, all right, yeah, we'll get him locked in. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
and then just sat there and waited. The hairs on the back of his neck stood up as Arthur Blank quietly just walked over.
They're calling Penix like, hey, I know the pick is going to be known, like when it comes across the ticker, but try not to say anything. We got to put some fires out before we make this pick, but just know we're picking you.
Yeah. Dude, Arthur Blank is like the most gangster owner of all time, too.
Think so?
I had a meeting with them, and it was like 2 days after I went to Country Thunder, and my voice is gone. I'm still hungover. And I was in Atlanta and drive all the way into the city because they're in Flower Branch. They're like 45 minutes outside. You know that. You're a Falcon.
Yeah.
And I literally go into like the city of Atlanta, and there's like this old Victorian building, which is his office. And I go up, and it's like everything is like really nice, wood and a giant fireplace, and there's a guy on
like
top of a
dark
black
ambiance.
horse. Yeah. And we sat down, just me and him, and talked, and I could barely speak. I was like yelling, trying to just get words out. And I thought, yeah, I'm not going here. It's probably not a shot I'm going to make it here.
Yeah.
But he does have that cool owner vibe. Just keeps it calm. You see him too. He's pissed off. His body language is mad, but he's got the
keeping it calm,
hands in the pockets, just does one of these real quick, hand back in the pocket, keeps it calm.
You know what he says is, talk to me.
Yeah. So why?
Yeah.
So why would you do this?
Explain this.
Yeah.
Then you got your boy Joe Alt goes 5th overall to your boy Harbaugh with the Chargers.
I know.
You think Joe? You were talking about J.C. Latham earlier, going from right to left. Guys can kind of do it. How do you feel like Joe Alt can transition to that left side?
I hope he can. I hope he can do it. Him and I actually had a conversation.
Hey, hang on, my fault. Transition to the right side.
Got you. I don't know. If I'm being 100% honest, like this, I know that Joe sees himself as a left tackle. I know that he wants to play left tackle.
How do you know?
Because I had the conversation with him. I talked to Joe about this, and he's like, I want to play left tackle. I'm not. I switching over the right side's a difficult thing to do. Which he and I shared that, and what I told him was, when you meet with these teams, tell them that. Like, don't just try to be yes sir everything. I can do X, Y, and Z. I can do it all for you. If you want, I can snap the ball, coach. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, if you believe this is where your skill set is, then tell him that's where your skill set is. Now,
this was at the combine, yeah.
This is at the combine. And now Joe, he's going to a place, they're going to run the shit out of the football. They're going to play old school, hard-nosed, 3 yards in a cloud of dust ball with Jim Harbaugh at the helm. That's going to be a good ball club.
Look at him, just kind of hugs his girl like, fuck.
Yeah. Put his arms as far out as he possibly can.
Like, I'm trying to look excited right now. I fucking hate
that guy right there at the beard. That's Tommy Condon, son of Tom Condon.
Yeah, that's a sharp beard.
That's a sharp beard. Handsome boy.
They all kind of know the same thing. Like, yeah, your boy just hugged him right there. Like, hey, I know you're pissed, but just
be happy, be happy.
It's got to juice you up to the way Harbaugh comes out and people talk about, hey, we're going to get weapons. Linemen are weapons. They're the tip of the spear.
And he's like, it's the only position group that doesn't rely on anybody else.
Yeah.
I love that.
Look at him.
That big bear. He looks like a bear that's just done scratching his back on a tree. Yeah. Oh, hopefully it all works out. I mean, it's Gunn. The kid's a talent. He's a stud. And he got picked 5th overall. He's a lot to be excited about. But they got Rashawn Slater. And that guy is a proven talent in the NFL. Yeah. They're not moving him to right tackle.
Yeah.
Unless there's a conversation they have where You know, Rashawn's like, yeah, I don't mind playing right. I could absolutely jump over there and play right. Joe feels more comfortable at left, but if it's me, no.
Yeah.
I would have been very upset because I lack the skill set to switch my feet.
Yeah.
Joe might be able to. He might just not know how talented he is just yet.
But
Just
you know how
yet.
it is. Like, say you feel like it's getting forced in those first couple days in camp. He kind of gets a little flustered.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to know like how he'll be verbalizing it, like when he's in the locker room. Like,
Yeah.
I can't play right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's going to be difficult because offensive linemen usually have a hard time like expressing themselves, their frustrations.
Yeah.
They just kind of get internally mad and then call whoever they're closest with
Yeah.
and then move on. There's not like a big blow up
yeah.
for the
'Cause
normal offensive lineman.
don't be seen, don't be
Yeah.
heard. That's the O-line.
Another thing that happened, Malik Neighbors got a taste of looking at college facilities to NFL facilities and how different they are.
Yeah. We'll go through these draft moments here, but you could see Malik Neighbors dapping up the entire New York Giants organization, just knowing that he's entering hell at the moment with Daniel Jones. I think he referred to him as in the press conference.
Oof.
Dapping up each guy like, God damn it, just fucking put me down here. I'm going to make a lot of money for you guys, but don't disrespect me. I feel like that's the vibe that Malik Neighbors is giving.
Yeah. He's
Like, hey, I hope you guys know I'm going to do this how I want to do this.
there are two kind of football players when you walk and you meet the higher ups in an NFL league, in an NFL team. It's the guy that wants you to respect them immediately, and you're like dapping him up, big energy. Hey, coach, how are you? Excited to be here, doing all that. And there's the other guys that's like, you need to respect me first before I respect you.
Yeah.
And Malik Neighbors is giving off the I need that respect before I start smiling.
He's
around
giving
here.
off the vibe that I'm going to put in 2 really good years up front for you guys, and you better be ready to renegotiate right away.
Yes, you better be. Yeah, Well, we're gonna renegotiate after my rookie year. That's kind of
He's
energy.
one of those guys for sure.
Yeah, but kids, I mean,
He's a stud.
yeah, all the Marvin Harrison Jr. stuff, people were talking about this guy's number 1 in the draft, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden that classic, the rumors start going around right before the draft happens of, hey, this guy, his yards after catch, the way he's so sharp in and out of his breaks, his like
Attacks
he's
the
yacked.
ball. Like everybody's saying
Yeah.
even though Marvin Harrison Jr. was the best wide receiver, everybody's saying he's the most explosive
The
wide
most
receiver.
explosive. And the dude is a tank too.
Yeah.
Absolute tank. So I'm excited. They seem like they got their OBJ. A bigger OBJ.
Bigger OBJ. Time will
Walking
tell.
around. We will only see.
What's
in
another
time.
draft moment? I don't want to mess his name up. The
Olu Fashanu.
Olu Fashanu.
Penn State left tackle.
His-
Mom's getting excited. She gives him the big hug. Girlfriend's to the right of the mom. She goes in for the hug, little leg tap.
First team All NBA defensive team. Right
Yeah.
here. The girl, it's like, it's tough to be in that spot, right? You're trying to be excited. You're trying to maintain composure. A couple claps. You kind of reach over for the old leg touch.
Yeah.
But mom is just, I mean, look at mom. Just
She's
hugging
hounding him.
nonstop.
Hounding him.
I don't know if that's his dad next to him, but she's tapping him like, hey, get in here. Everybody block out so his white girlfriend can't get in this because this is our baby boy. There she kind of goes in for the arm. Hey, you can hug me, but not my boy.
That's right. We're transmitting the energy through me to him.
You're on a yearly contract just like he is. Don't you fuck this up.
Every single year, we're going to reevaluate and renegotiate. Look at him helping him up. That is a big man. Some big legs.
Look
at him.
it's Olu, right?
Olu Fashanu.
He might be thinking like, okay, mom, you're hugging me a lot right now. Like, let's stand up, get some fresh air. Mom even reads it out of nowhere, goes and picks that ball off, stands up, hugs him again, even more.
Yeah, tight coverage.
And poor girlfriend back there, she's just kind of waiting her turn. Feels cameras on her, I'm sure. She
Look at
just
her.
tried to make a step, and I
And
think
she-
Auntie said, "No, get back."
Back it up a second.
Yeah, yeah.
Auntie said back it up. Maybe the Jets drafted the wrong Fashanu. They should have maybe taken the mom.
Yeah.
She is out there absolutely making sure his son is not even touched by that girlfriend.
Yeah. Getting her screen
Incredible.
time in.
True pass protection the entire time.
And keeps her at bay too. She keeps her hand on old girl's leg, like, hey, you just stay down when this
Yeah.
happens. You let us get it in.
She noticed that little leg tap. That was tough.
And then our boy, now a really cool moment was Braden Fisk with the Rams.
I'll make sure it's not as loud this time.
Let's hope. You want to start playing?
The Rams call Fisk here, and this is what, the second or third round?
Second round.
Second round, and the Rams are trying to get. Is this going to be playing the same time I'm talking? Okay, well then let's just wait. Just turn it off, Mitch. We can kind of just overlay the visual. But basically, the Rams were on the phone with him, fired up. They were trying to get Jared Verse because they took him in the first round. They were trying to get him up to the war room to make that call to him because the boys are going to be back playing together just like they were in Florida State. But they have a cool moment when Verse gets on the phone and they're just hyped for each other, and then they both just start getting emotional, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, you
love
get your
to see.
boy back. Your boy's back in the saddle with you. What an amazing feeling that
Yeah.
is. Because when you go to a team, you're walking into, you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
You're essentially going back to camp, making friends. Hopefully you can find a couple guys to sit at breakfast with and have a couple laughs with, but you
Right.
really don't know what's going to happen.
Going from East Coast
Yeah.
to West Coast too. And
Right.
for Braden being a small school cat before he transferred to Florida State, ripping it up at the combine, just shot up draft boards for him to get taken. He's gonna love McVay too. Like, what a fucking coach to play for.
Yeah, dude, this is such a cool move by Les Snead and McVay to something as so sacred as the draft. They literally have rooms called the war room that they're in there and they're looking, they have their little things. Okay, this guy's off the board now. Who's our next in line? What do we need? All that stuff. Like, they're truly like setting up the future of their team. And for them to call one of the guys they drafted just a year ago and bring them in because they know that they're boys, that's more of a bro move than I think people even realize.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But to see Fisk have the conversation with the coaches and everything, and it's yes, sir, no, sir. Like, every one of these calls is either a kid crying or, yep, let's get it. Yep, yes, sir. Yep. Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
unless the Caleb Williams call was a little awkward.
Yeah, we can get into that a little bit too. But I feel like Caleb Williams,
He's just a different cat.
different cat, extremely talented. I'm not getting on Big Cat's list.
You don't want to get on Big
that.
Cat's list.
I promise you
You
that.
don't want to be on Big Cat's list, but we can still.
The minute Big Cat said that everything before this was wiped clean, because I have said a couple of things about Caleb Williams, I'm not ruining that opportunity.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, who's the receiver that they took?
Roma Dunze from Washington, the wide receiver.
who's a stud.
Yeah,
but
stud.
The Bears knocked it out of the park with their draft.
Yeah.
Speaking of
The-
that, do y'all want to rank your top draft grades for teams?
My favorite draft was probably number one, the boys where I started with Washington. Jaden Daniels, I think he's going to be a stud. But in that division, the Eagles, you got a team that was abysmal on defense, more specifically the secondary last year. And to go and get Cooper DeJean, just skip over their first round draft pick, but Quinyon Mitchell, who's an absolute dog, who attacks the ball really well. Cooper DeJean, cornerbacks with their first two picks, and on a lot of big boards, top 10 talents that they got in the first two rounds. And then you get somebody in the edge. What's his name? Is it Jalix Hunt? Will Shipley, just another gritty first in, last out cat. You get Jeremiah Trotter Jr. as a linebacker, who Jeremiah Trotter Sr. was an animal at Philly back in the day. What's up?
He was sick.
He was a stud. And for them to get, I mean, I feel like they address a lot of other spots on defense to where a lot of people were calling for Sirianni's head last year. Their defense played really poorly. And again, in that back end, now you got Blankenship, DeJean, Mitchell, Darius Slay,
Say the best one.
Cooper DeJean.
Trevor Keegan.
Trevor Keegan. They get your boy Trevor Keegan out
That's
of
right.
Michigan. I feel like for good value in the fifth round. I
Great
think
value.
somebody-
172 overall. I mean, the guy, you can watch the film. Obviously, a dude that's limited athletically, plays in a phone booth, but he is a guy that loves football, loves to get after it. Your classic hog who's going to give you every ounce of effort he can possibly give on a day in and day out basis.
and didn't allow a sack in 2023 and played 8 consecutive games without allowing one single pressure.
that is.
And again, a
that's-
Michigan man
and-
coming from what's the trophy call where the entire line gets it?
That is the Joe Moore Award.
The Joe Moore Award. They were 2-time, right?
Right. And Michigan played one of the hardest schedules this past year. If you look at the back half of their schedule, they played Penn State, they played Ohio State, they played Alabama, they played Washington.
Right. So he's got the tape. They got the O lineman awards, the Joe Moore Award. So he's coming from
Two-time Joe Moore
good O
Award.
line culture in Michigan and going to a great O line culture with Philly.
Mhm. And there was a lot of reports coming out of the combine of like higher ups, GM saying that like these Michigan cats are head and shoulders above mentally where usually guys are at going from college to the NFL. And that's a product of Jim Harbaugh and the culture that
Absolutely.
he established.
Yeah.
I mean, 13 guys drafted, 13 guys ready to go, program record. That's awesome. I do like that. It's very interesting that you picked the team that probably picked the most amount of white guys. That's very Will Compton of you.
But also, just to play devil's advocate, they're one of the rivals of Washington. I do feel like Washington had a great draft, but for the Eagles, again, to address, absolutely. I think they traded up for Cooper as well. But to go after spots to where they need filled, I think that's why they've been my favorite draft.
There's nothing more heartbreaking to me than when I saw Cooper DeJean fall to the first round. That moment that you, me, Stephen Shea, Roan, and Brandon Walker shared was so nice before you got duped.
I know. Which sucks because it was coming from those kind of like, those, I don't know how to call them, the credible bot X profiles, like the Dove Climb and the ML Football, the JPA or whatever it was, like that. Those are the ones I saw it on because they, I would type in like if the Eagles are drafted, I'd type in Eagles, and then usually the most recent tweets are saying, oh, so and so they're getting this guy.
Yeah,
it had been put up, and then when we went back afterwards, it was then deleted, but. Your boy got duped, and it was tough because based on there was a tweet going around last week that Cooper DeJean was our Jackie Robinson, and that was a big moment for.
That was not your tweet.
No. People thought it was, but that was not my tweet. But it was a big moment for our culture. We haven't had a first round cornerback maybe ever, or maybe since like the 70s. We haven't had one start, and so who knows if he's going to get to play corner? They're going to move him to safety.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like for him to line up against AJ Brown in practice?
Yes,
after AJ getting paid.
Yeah, this strapped.
AJ's going to give him hell.
Maybe, or AJ might not practice.
AJ might not practice.
That boy, he's one of the man. He's
might,
the man out
might
there.
out work ethic him. I don't know.
Maybe
it might grind it out. He might know the play's coming before the play even comes.
That needs to be the Hard Knock series. Philly.
And not only that, Devontae Smith got paid.
Yeah, but I feel like he doesn't talk like AJ talks.
Yeah.
AJ is a crazy
AJ's
talent.
like that.
AJ is him.
Those rookie corners, whether you had question marks on the Mitchell playing at a small school and against the competition, he'll be getting the best competition at receiver playing against the Eagles with Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, and those boys.
He's going to find out real fast if he's going to make it or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real fast.
And you're going to start callousing your brain mentally when you do get beat, because you're definitely going to get beat.
And in the fall, if you're looking for a place to go to grab tickets, you can go to the Game Time app. That's right. Thanks to Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. You shouldn't have to worry about buying your tickets for your next big event. Game Time is the fastest, easiest way to buy tickets to all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. Flash deals for sudden discounts, zone deals when you're feeling flexible, and their lowest price guarantee, which means that if you can find seats for less anywhere else, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time is the best place for last minute seats with up to 60% of your favorite events. So what are you waiting for? I'm going to buy those baseball tickets. Those, what do we got? I think there's a big Jelly Roll concert coming up real soon that I might have to go check out. I think it's actually happening in Las Vegas, Nevada around late June. I heard.
Beer Olympics.
So I might have to. Beer Games Championship of the World.
Beer Games Championships of the World.
Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code BUSSIN. That's BUSSIN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, and that is guaranteed. Can I say what my favorite draft team was?
Yeah.
I think it's very clear cut, and they started doing it in the first round. My number one is going to have to go to the Minnesota Vikings. They got the best quarterback talent in this draft. They've gotten a proven winner in this draft, a guy that is going to eat, sleep, and breathe the game of football. And then what did they do 7 picks later? They turn around and get arguably the best edge rusher in this draft.
Best defensive player.
Yeah, edge rusher is exactly what I just said. Defensive player. Dallas Turner from the University of Alabama. Yeah, saying overall. They're saying this guy's a Will Anderson 2.0 type of guy. Like you just cloned him and brought him over. You see the leadership qualities that Will Anderson has at the Houston Texans. He's bringing that to the Vikings. We have got something cooking up in Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes. It's going to be a special time. The other guys, listen, don't know a whole lot of who they are. I'm going to be real with you guys.
But you know J.J. McCarthy.
But you know J.J. McCarthy, and we know Dallas Turner. These other guys, I hope they pan out. I hope they're absolute studs. We are going to have, I'm now a Chargers fan, a Vikings fan, and a Tennessee Titans fan.
Yeah. I mean, look, J.J. couldn't have went in. Out of all the quarterbacks, I feel like he might have went into the best situation. You got Addison, Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson. Who's their running back?
Who?
For Minnesota?
Alexander
Madison. Yeah, Madison. You got You got a lot of weapons. You got a solid O-line. They built defensively. because they got better with Coach Brian Flores being their DC. But you couldn't, as a rookie quarterback, going in to a situation where you got Coach Kevin O'Connell, who understands quarterbacks, a little bit of a quarterback whisperer coming from McVay, was in Washington, obviously, is Coach Kirk Cousins a lot. Coach Wes Phillips, who's the OC, like he's in a very good situation with a great coaching staff and a lot of weapons around him.
The only player that you probably could argue is going to the best situation as a quarterback is going to be Caleb Williams. Yeah, Keenan Allen from the Chargers. They get Odunze in the, what was it, the 9th pick? The 9th pick overall, and the kid is an absolute stud. And so he's got a whole bunch of weapons going into the situation with a fan base that is dying for some
To me,
wins.
that though, that comes with a lot of expectation, a lot of pressure. You're the first overall pick. I agree with you. He does. He's going into a good situation, but it's kind of like, you're going in to win now. Minnesota is like similar, but I just feel like as far as a young guy coming into a culture that hasn't been on fire the way the Bears have.
The thing about Caleb Williams is he's obviously a unique cat, and I had my comments about him after the combine, but the pros of having that personality is it really seems like he does not give a shit
Even keel.
who's saying anything about him. Like he's going to paint his nails. He's going to do the Bears a million times. He thinks that's super funny, even though that wasn't a good Chicago accent. He's like buying in, and also buying in the way he buys in. He's going to stay true to himself. If he does he has the talent. Now we just need to see if it shows up in Chicago.
Another quarterback that had a phenomenal weekend, Dylan Raiola out of Nebraska. Do we want to hit on the Nebraska spring game?
I don't, but you can.
One last thing for NFL draft.
One last thing for NFL draft. JP slowing me down before I start getting off about
Just some kind of juice for all these high school kids coming out. In the first round, 5 5-stars were picked, 15 4-stars, 9 3-stars, 1 2-star, and 2 undrafted or unranked guys for the first round.
It does. I mean, it isn't about how you start; it's how you finish.
No question. And that's not even the finish either.
Right.
That's just a new start.
Right.
Turning of a chapter right there. That's the thing that dudes need to figure out the most is like you've gotten drafted, you've gotten that call, especially the cats that sit in the first round. Like your bank account is forever changed.
Mm-hmm.
But it's proving that you are worthy of that bank account.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now you have to play up to the level that you're being paid. It's no longer a, hey, let's get the classes in order, make sure we show up on time. It's either you're going to or you're not going to,
Right.
and that'll dictate your career other than injuries.
Because you being a first round pick, second round, whatever round you're drafted in, there's a whole other wave that comes in next year. So if you don't start showing what you're worth out of the gate, like that's what drafts are for.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, everybody's spotlighted, showered with love, just ass pats all over the place. You're making all this money, hugs, cries, all this stuff. But now, Vrabe, it's like, hey, it's not about how you get here; it's that you're here now.
Right.
So it's
And
all
those
about guys taking
ass
advantage,
pats
man.
and all that, the minute you put on the helmet, it's over.
Right.
No more ass pats, none of that stuff. Like it's now time to go to work. And it's such a crazy thing that I don't think people talk about is if you are picked in the first round of the NFL draft, you're riding that high like crazy. You're getting more text messages than you've ever had in your entire life. You walk in, everyone's dapping you up. That first practice is going to be a tough practice. Everyone's going to be gunning for you. All the defensive ends, if you're a tackle, they're all going to be gunning for you. They want to show that, oh, you picked him. I can make the team off this guy by beating him.
Right.
You got coaches that are now going to be harder on you because the expectation is higher on you. There's a whole lot more that comes into it. So when you leave that first practice while trying to digest a whole entire playbook, it is very, very different than the first moment you walked in, dapping everybody up.
And getting
love.
coached hard. It's like your
Yes.
lifestyle is not outside of the building where you're doing autograph deals, you're doing marketing deals, you're getting hooked up all around the city. All these people want to do all these things for you because your lifestyle is going to be in those 4 walls basically all year long, especially as a rookie. But so Nebraska spring game. Boys, anybody who saw the highlights, obviously I posted a couple highlights. Our quarterback room and even Harburg, all the boys were throwing some dimes out there. But seeing this 18-year-old, he's 18, right? He should be going to the prom. Dylan Raiola, look at the mannerisms, the body language, sitting in the pocket. The man looks like, I don't want to put an expectation on, but Patrick Mahomes.
He does kind of look like Patrick Mahomes. He's got the body style.
Yeah, he just
And he's
flips the
wearing
wrist,
15.
just poise. He looks good. Fellas, we might have a real shot.
At what?
Playoffs this year. Playoffs. I've already put in my futures. Plus 1,500 Nebraska to make the college football playoff. Do what?
It got to be higher than that.
I thought so too, but maybe everybody was kind of watching the spring game and the odds already changed.
I think it's wild that Nebraska, I watched some of the game, and the defense is throwing in blitzes. They don't care about, they're like showing all the things that they have. Usually these spring games are like preseason games where you're kind of just, hey, we're going to run a 4-down front, keep it base the whole time. We'll mix in some zone with some man, and that's it. And then,
I mean, look at that throw.
It's a good throw. And he went, what, like 10 for 17, 183 yards. It's 2 touchdowns and an interception.
I'm not sure.
He had a great stat line. But also, brother, listen, he is, and this is just an observation. He is doing a spring game versus a team that went 5-7 last year.
Timeout. Okay, just to correct you a little bit. He's a spring game versus a defense that's returning 8 starters and a defense that was ranked top 15 in defensive scoring, total yards, and rush defense.
In the Big
Just FYI. Yeah, but Big Ten, what? They won the national title last year.
Yeah, Michigan won the national title. I don't know if the Big Ten can claim that.
Oh, okay.
We don't have to do that. I'm not going into that with you again.
Either way, great showing for Dylan Raiola. And Nebraska fans should be excited.
Yeah, they should be. They should absolutely be excited.
And tornadoes touching down, and we still got over 60,000 showing up, just ready to die, just ready to bleed red.
You guys had a lot of people at that spring game.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, we are looking nice. We were like, did anybody else watch a spring game? No. I was just checking. I know it was the talk of the day. The draft was going on, but people were talking about this Nebraska spring game.
God.
On my timeline, anyway. I do follow a lot of Husker accounts.
That is, yeah. He looked really good.
He
that
did.
dime he threw in the back right of the end zone, I thought was a really great throw.
The one where
he threw a long one. He
long one to 19.
Yeah.
That's the thing, too, is we got some color out on the edge now. We didn't have a whole lot of depth at receiver. We had some guys, some walk-ons that you need on your squad, but you got some transfers coming in. You get a little color on the outside, guys making plays, attacking the football. It seems like we're going to have a little bit more depth this year with the Big Red.
Okay, you said it once, and then you doubled down and said color again.
Yeah, well, that just is what it is.
Yeah, but you can't say color.
Okay, we got some more black guys.
There you go. That's way better. But you're sitting on a bus with 6 white dudes that went to some NASCAR games that probably this bus has probably heard a lot of mean words.
No, I'm with you, but this is a podcast that brings the locker room to life. Do the boys in the locker room not say that? There's too many white guys on defense.
Yeah.
Are they like, hey, we need a little bit more soul out there?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I know what the locker room says, but I feel like it would be unfair to the viewer. We got a couple guys out there, allies, that might want to come after Will Compton. And I just want to make sure that I'm protecting my boy.
Listen, I know who I am. I know who I am.
That's the problem. I don't want people to find out. I need my
Look at that throw.
safe.
God. I think that's Harburg, dude. I mean, he's out there balling.
Just elevating
Look at him.
cats.
To the pylon.
Michael Penix, Kirk Cousins. Dude's just elevating dudes.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you. You had speaking of big moments over the weekend, win Rebel with the chug.
Yeah, dude, that was...
I mean,
I don't want this to
the amount of text I got, like Coach Vitello from the University of Tennessee, the head baseball coach, he's at the game and he sends me a photo of the big screen just being like an awesome moment just took place. Taylor chugs a beer, daughter chugs the water. And look at Wynn just being a showman, just like her old man. But everybody was hitting me up. I mean, what a fucking awesome moment.
Dude, that is the best. I don't want this to come off the wrong way. That was the most proud moment I've had as a father. Like, I don't want that to come off the wrong way. But, dude, we sat down. So it was supposed to be me, Talon, Wynn, and Willow go to the game. Willow ends up getting a fever, so she can't go. Something going around Nashville, Tennessee. And I was like, okay, well, I've already told them I'll go and I'll chug a beer and do the whole thing. And so I have to go. She's like, well, take Wynn with you. I was like, oh, absolutely. I'll take Wynn. And Wynn, you see the paper in her hand that she's holding. She made it go Predators. Like, she drew that the whole way there and was fired up because I was like, hey, honey, we're going to be on the big screen. People are going to see it. Blah, blah, blah. So
daddy-daughter moment, bro.
Yeah.
Taking him to the game.
She was loving it. We get in our seats and I'm thinking like, hey, this whole like just chug a beer thing is it's getting stale. Like, it can't just chug a beer. There has to be something more.
But
so
you know what the people want when you're at a Nashville
Yeah,
Preds. Taylor Lewan at a Nashville Predators.
Yeah, you got to chug a beer. So I go to Win and I'm like, dude, I'm going to chug this beer. I'm going to pour it on my head. And then you drink that water as fast as you can. And she was kind of like, I don't know, Dad. Like, she was nervous.
Right.
Like, she didn't want to answer the call. She didn't know how well it was going to go. This, that, and the other.
Yeah.
A lot of people. And I was like, honey, when people see you drink that water, they're going to lose their minds. And she's like, are they really? I was like, yeah, it'll be legendary. She's like, you think so? I was like, yes. So they text me. They're like, first TV timeout, 14-minute mark. We're going to put you guys on. And so as it's ticking down, we get to 17 minutes. Boys are going back and forth. Vancouver scores, Predator score. My heart's starting to race. Like, I'm getting nervous, hoping my daughter answers the bell.
Yeah.
Because if I point to her and she's just like, no, I'm like,
the camera
fuck.
just stays on her.
Yeah, it just stays on her. And so I was really nervous. So we went over the game plan a few more times. Okay, Daddy's gonna chug the beer. I'm gonna pour it on my head, and then I'm gonna point to you. And when you see me point to you, that's when you get the water as fast as you can and drink it as fast as you can. She goes, I'm not gonna pour it on my head. I said, you don't have to.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my phone. I got
And
the
the
beer.
way, yeah, bro, she just.
And the stand up too.
Yeah.
Dude, look at this kid's smile when I pick her up. Just
And
watch,
everybody cheering because I was watching the tape. Like,
watch this. Watch
you
her
hear
smile.
the pop,
Watch her
bro.
smile. Look at that face. True happiness. It was so amazing to see her answer the call like that. The biggest cheese of all time. I was
Dude, the pop from the
beyond
crowd
myself.
Because people were fired up that you were doing it, but
Yeah.
then when it went to her and she started, you just hear this second wave eruption. Then you pull her up, and everyone just goes nuts, bro.
I
Like
know.
it was fucking
Dude,
awesome.
I was sitting. So when the timeout was happening, they started showing people, and I was like, well, I can't just be looking at the jumbotron. I'm like, in my head, like, try to make it look as organic as possible that you don't know you're going to be on there, which obviously I know it's about to happen.
Yeah.
And legit, I'm looking down and I hear cheering. And I look up and I'm like, oh, boy, still got some juice around here. I love that. So I do the whole beer thing. And it was like, and then when started drinking the beer, it went like 30 decibels up. People lost their
Yeah,
fucking
bro.
mind about it. Dude, the whole way home, I literally walking out and some cop stops me. He's like, the way you smell right now, you would go to jail immediately if you got pulled over. We wouldn't even breathalyze you. I was like, dude, I had
The way
I had
you
the
smell
one.
right now.
But like
You did just dump that.
yeah. But dude, we're in the car on the way home and Wynn's like, Dad, I should have poured the water on top of my head, shouldn't I? She's like already reevaluating the film in her head. Like it was so cool. It was seriously like one of the coolest moments as a father.
Dude, I bet.
And to see people be like the ultimate daddy-daughter moment.
Yeah, dude, that
loved
was
it.
awesome, man.
I loved it.
And look, I don't know if you've seen any comments, but I saw a couple where it's like, "Oh, the drinking in front of your daughter." Don't fuck those people, dude. You heard the crowd, you heard the roar. Like that is such an awesome
Dude,
moment.
we were leaving. We were walking out because I had to get home for family dinner night, Sunday night. And we're like walking after the first period, and people are stopping Wynn to give her fist bumps.
Love that,
saying
dude.
you slammed that water. Canucks fans, Predators fans, everybody
Dude,
was like
that's
all
gonna
about
be-
Wynn Rebel Lamar.
That's going to be a core memory that lives up there
100%.
forever.
Yes. Was that movie Inside Out? Have you seen that movie?
Inside out,
Inside Out. Have you not seen it?
maybe.
It's about a little like 10-year-old girl, and she has like her emotions are in her head, and like the story's about her emotions, and they're like evaluating
think
core
so.
memories.
It's a
Yeah.
banger.
It's a fucking banger. That's a good one to put on for Rue.
Yeah,
Because you'll tear up too. It's so good. They have a new one coming out also, like I think this summer.
that fires me up.
Yeah. And it's all about the core memories. Like their joys in the middle, jealousy, sadness, anger, envy, like all these other things.
Oh, I love that.
And you just see them all kind of working it. And the next one's about a girl going through puberty. And I'm like really nervous to see that. Oh, dude, don't say that line. Take her to the moon for me. You watch it, you're like, oh my God. It's crazy, dude. It is a wild time. Not as wild as
The Kentucky Derby. It is Kentucky Derby time, brought to you by an official DraftKings affiliate. Are you ready for the greatest 2 minutes in sports? Saddle up with DK Horse. Right now, new customers who download the DK Horse app can get a 100% deposit bonus up to $250. Just deposit $25 or more and complete the playthrough requirement. Wager on your favorite horses, then watch the races at Churchill Downs live right in the app. DraftKings has you covered with a one-stop shop for all things horse racing. Download DK Horse now to join the run for the Download DK Horse now to join the Run for the Roses action. New customers get a 100% deposit bonus up to $250 when they opt in with code BUS. That is BUS. Only on the DK Horse app.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Will. If someone goes on there and they bet up to $250,000, they get another $250,000 when they use code BUS?
$250. Not
like-
$250,000.
What did I say, 1,000?
You said 250,000.
Oh shit, no, I meant
Yeah,
$250.
up to 250. You place $250, you get a 100% deposit bonus.
And all they have to use is code Bussin?
Yes.
No, code bus.
Code bus.
BUS. Well, we made it more confusing.
Yeah, 250,000 buses. $250.
Things are
code
going wild in
Bus.
my head.
And you can watch the horse race right there on the app. So you get everything covered on this DK Horse app.
What
Yeah.
a time. But yeah, dude, that was
Great dad moment.
it was a huge dad moment. And should we go into dad moments?
Yeah, we can talk dad moments. I got a few right here. I got a few with some dad talk.
Go ahead.
We do what?
The hat. Or flip your hat around.
Yeah, I'll flip my hat around. I'll get some dad. By the way, we still got our dad merch up. There's boy mom. The boy mom hats are still available for those wanting to get their mother, their wife, or anybody who is pregnant and it's going to be a boy. We still have our boy mom hats and merchandise up in the store right now. Our girl dad hats, Father's Day is coming up in about a month and a half. So for all the girl dads out there, all the dads, we have dad hats, we have girl dad merch, boy mom merch. You can get all that stuff. But your boy, my wife, she's in Paris for 9 days. So I got the kid, I got Rue for 9 days. I had her over the weekend. We had a lot of good times, a lot of good moments. I'm talking coffee shops, pizzerias. We went and split a burger and a milkshake over at Joyland. Phenomenal burgers, by the way, over at Joyland.
Wow.
And by the way, my man over there, he said anytime we want him to come cook over at the bus, he's down to do it. We can get some cater. We can
That's
get something
big.
worked out. But dude, playgrounds. And by the way, we did have some playground drama. And tell me, I want to know your thoughts because I feel like this is where I'll struggle as a parent because I feel like everything is personal with kids. I was trying to do the thing where Rue's playing and to where I'm not trying to be around her at all times because she loves like when dad's involved with stuff. I'm trying to like sit back on the bench and let her kind of
You trying to enjoy your time too?
yeah, well, indulge the player. She indulged the playground on her own. She starts climbing up a bunch of stuff, and she's climbing. There's these couple kids who kind of sit at the top, and wouldn't let her come up. And I'm like sitting back, but I'm immediately festering inside, like
Right.
legit. Remind myself they're just kids. They're just kids.
Mhm.
And I see one like pat her on the head, and they're kind of talking to her, and I don't know what they're saying, but I'm only envisioning like the worst stuff.
Right.
And then they kind of walk off, and Rue, she's so sweet and shy. She kind of just stands there, and then she kind of like looks over at me, and I just kind of do one of these things. And she finishes climbing up, but it happened a few times. And how do you view that stuff? Because I get kind of angered. Like I get like, you know, when I put Rue up and then she wants to go down the slide, if it gets climbing on the slide, I kind of just indirectly talk to them. Oh, don't worry, sweetheart. You wait your turn because this kid's about to go down the slide. And they're climbing, and then they kind of just sit on the slide because they kind of know she wants to go down and they don't want to move.
Yeah, they're being shitheads.
Yeah, to where I'm like, oh, don't worry, they're about to finish, and then I like look over at the kid, and then they'll kind of finish. Like,
Yeah.
all right, sweetheart, you can go. But how do you handle that? Like, I, in your mind, am I kind of overthinking? Because I feel like that's what her making friends and her getting bullied. I feel like it's really gonna.
That's
be
the
tough for your
biggest
boy.
fear, right? Is that they're not going to make friends. They're going to get bullied. That
Yeah.
type of thing. For me, I do the same thing where I'll walk up, like, oh, honey, just wait your turn. This little boy's about to go.
Mhm.
And then you kind of look at him until he feels so uncomfortable that another adult he doesn't know is looking at him that he's going to slide down the slide.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've had a situation where I was at a farmer's market and some kid was not being tight to Willow, and the parents walked up and I said something to the parents. I was like,
I
hey,
appreciate. I like that.
I was like,
that
hey,
move.
do you your kid was kind of being a little rough with my kid. Your kid was trying a little something with my kid, and they're embarrassed immediately. And I'm thinking, yeah, fix your house.
But to me, that's a good thing from a parent. If they like feel embarrassed, oh, my fault, blah, blah, blah. It's the ones where I saw one little kid, maybe 20 months and starting to wander off the playground and then like yelling out for mom and kind of like getting a little nervous to where I'm sitting up. I'm like, yo, where's this kid's parents
Yeah,
at? And then I see her all the way over on the basketball court. And I'm just thinking, man, this kid was kind of
20 months old.
scared. Yeah. Just
Yeah,
walking
you
around.
got to stick around. My oldest, Win, she's 6. If she has a situation with a kid at a playground, she comes up to tell me, I'm like, all right, go talk to him about it. Like, I have her go confront the issue. But if it's Willow, who's 3, I'll kind of help her navigate the issue until she kind of sees how things go down. And then when she gets old enough, I'll be like, all right, you go
Yeah.
handle that problem.
Yeah.
Because you get them to handle the problem. Now they're problem solving themselves.
Yeah.
And you're giving them tools instead of just helping them.
Right. Because the issue, and I already know it, like I'm like wrapped around her finger to where she's so sweet. And like if kids come up and they want to go on the slide and they're behind her and they're kind of like, they're being kids, they're like ready to go down the slide. She'll like step to the side and let them go in front of her and stuff. And she's kind of passive.
Yeah.
But it always just melts my heart when I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, do I feel like a situation's happening right now? Like, do I
Right.
need to jump in?
How old are the kids?
They were older. Like one was probably 4, the other probably 6, the one that kind of patted her on the head and
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm just thinking like, is she getting bullied right now? Probably not. I'm overthinking this. But Rudy just kind of sits there all quiet and stuff.
I know, but she's really coming out of her shell of not being so shy. Like,
Well, she just like
Ever
she
since she's
just
turned
loves
2.
life. Yeah.
Ever since she's turned 2, it's been really just been happy Rue.
Yeah,
And
bro.
it's happy, excited, confident.
Yeah.
Comes up a little more like just not just mom and dad. Like
Right.
when y'all were at my house the other day and she was with JP.
Hanging with you and JP going
Yeah.
out at the farm. That was so awesome to know she didn't need to be by me.
And at some, we started walking to the goats, JP, and Will kind of comes out of nowhere. I don't know how you felt, but in my head, I'm like, yo, go back inside, Will.
I know.
Ruin the moment.
Yeah, I come out.
JP did try to take it the moment. He tried to take it all for himself at one point, going down to see the chickens. You guys were going down, and I could see that you two were kind of just starting to go down. So I had to be like, hey, Rue, you want to see some chickens? She has chickens? I was like, I'm back.
Hey, the thing
back.
though is she's a JP fan. I feel like it kind of rubs the boy Taylor kind of being around her.
Which is crazy because I've been around that kid 3 times as much as you. I know. I saw the handhold.
She's a big JP fan. JP.
That's crazy.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
I put the work in. I've been around.
He says I put the work in.
It's just crazy. I'm just going to blame it on my tall stature. Maybe it's a little more intimidating. And the fact that that Win tried to scare her with a mask one time, and that's all she talks about.
Yeah, every time we go to Taylor's house, mask all gone. Yeah, the mask is gone. Upstairs, Win. Yeah, Win had the mask on upstairs. Mask is all
Win
gone.
puts this this How to Train Your Dragon toothless mask on and essentially just runs at Rue.
Yeah, comes up over my shoulder and just is like leaning up in Rue's face. Rue just starts spazzing, dude.
Spazzing out. And that's when you sit back and I'm like, oh, fuck. That's not a good deal. You kind of watch how Will's handling it, and I go over to Win. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, you know, you just like staying calm, Rue. It's
what
okay.
Are we doing,
like
man?
It's the mask isn't real, yada, yada. She gets a little spooked. I don't know how big in the Spooktober she'll be, which will be a little bit of work, I think.
I'll tell you, that's my dad moment.
Win loves it.
Win loves it. My dad moment is this past weekend, Willow started really talking about Spooktober and buying in.
Really?
Not only is she started she's like, because I told her you'll be 4 before Spooktober. She brought up Spooktober. I was like, oh, you'll be 4 before then. And that's been the craziest thing to her, that she's going to turn 4 before the next Spooktober and have no idea why that's a cool thing to her. But that's kind of where we're at.
But she'll be older.
Yeah.
Ready to take
and
it
ever
on.
since I got back from Mexico, dude, it's like only dad. It's the first time ever. It's been like only dad. I only want dad. Like she'll come in the room, like on the weekends, I'll kind of get up in the morning. I'll go do my little thing in the recovery room. And Taylor will tell me that Willow will walk in the room, be like, where's dad? And she's like, oh, he's not here. And she'll be like, all right. And just peace out and come meet me up in the recovery room and like build shit.
And mom will be like, you want to play with mom?
No.
No, dad. Where's dad?
Yeah.
That's got to
be. Willow's like super blunt too. She just kind of like, I kind of want you, like at the game, going to the game last night, Willow's like, Dad, I want you to stay and mom can go with Win. And I was like, hell yes, but I can't. I have to go. Daddy's got to chug a beer.
Yes, sweetheart. Mom is awesome.
Yeah, mom's great.
Yeah.
Very transparent with my kids about the beer chugging. Like, Dad's got to drink booze tonight.
Yeah, Dad's
got
to
for his job. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
they fully support him.
And for any dads that get a little nervous about watching your kid on your own, because I know it's out there. Guys like, it's like, oh, you babysitting the kid. It's like, oh, no, I'm being a parent. But also, it's really not that tough, man. You negotiate with them better with mom not around.
Yes.
Like they listen, like Rue has been all time. Not that she doesn't listen, but there's usually this back to back. Like if I want her to do something and she doesn't want to do it, she'll eventually say like, see mama, mama holds you. And I'm just thinking, no, bro, you've got to, whether it's eat this, you got to clean up that. It's really not that tough, man. And I was getting sappy. I was watching an Instagram video and then it was talking about tough moments with your kids. And he's like, the best advice I can give is picture yourself at 80 years old when they're old and you're kind of looking back at these fond memories and all you want is for them to kind of be complaining and be back in those moments. I'm sitting there tearing up, kind of watching this Instagram video, just being like, I'm glad I get to have this week with Rue because number one, scoreboard with mom, but also like it's been fun, bro. It's been awesome.
You got to sympathize, whatever it is. Empathize with the people out there that have like 3 kids under 5. And they have to be solo.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I just have 1. So that is a very good point. And then the people who have 2, it's like, why did I ever complain about 1? But it's one of those things I feel like if I'm out with Rue, I ran into a buddy of mine and it's like, oh, you're not helping me out, and his wife will be like, oh, Charles doing this? Well, maybe I can go do this while you watch the kid, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, it definitely empathize with that. There was this cat who he was like watching 3. He's like, oh yeah. You know, he's like the game is this. You just take them out to eat. You take them, whether you want to pack their lunch and you go out somewhere to where there's outside. That way you burn through time. You're all out of the house. You're not all stagnant and they're kind of having fun. And then next thing you know, it's time for bed or it's time for their nap when you bring them back. So you're always getting outdoors. That was kind of the tip he gave me.
Yeah. You get outdoors as much as possible.
Yeah.
And there's like a study about like kids with their dad solo and their mom solo. And like kids naturally are like more comfortable with the mom, so they'll show all of the emotion and not as comfortable with the dad. So that's why they're like more listening and more agreeable.
Maybe some respect.
Because when we go places, they'll be like, these kids, man, sometimes like they're a lot. And then she'll go somewhere and do something. I'll be with the kids like, this is nothing. I sit them down. We have team meetings. Well, I'll say, hey, team meeting. And they all run to the chairs. They know exactly where to sit. I'm like, here's what we're doing today.
Yeah.
This, and this. Is there anything else you guys want to do? And they give up and they have a couple suggestions. I'm like, yes, no, absolutely not. We go through that and then we stick to the plan.
And then if they start to get out of line, you just revert to the plan. Hey, remember we
talked about this. Remember the team meeting. And sometimes they get out of line. We'll have a team meeting, a sporadic team meeting at the park.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
To
Setting the expectation.
Yo, yeah. Got to. Have to.
Yeah, it's a must, man.
It's
What
a big deal.
else we got on the docket, boys? I'm excited about my shout out. No free shout out this week. If we want to hit shout outs.
Let's do a twisted question.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll go fuck myself.
Yeah, Twisted Tea is a refreshing hard iced tea made with real brewed tea and 5% alcohol, full of flavor, very refreshing. Twisted Tea goes down smooth. There's no carbonation, what makes it easy to drink all day long. Twisted Tea feels fun and celebrates extreme fandom on game day. It is the perfect alcohol for game day. Whether tailgating a parking lot, watching at a bar, or watching with friends at home, Twisted Tea is there to turn up your game day. Keep it twisted. Do us a favor, grab a refreshing Twisted Tea today. The Twisted Question brought to us by Mitch, who is brought to us by
Benjamin at Thick Air Rec on Instagram.
Okay. Benjamin Thick Eric.
Yeah, I don't know. But when you die, what is one stat you would like to know about yourself?
How many times I nutted?
That's a solid one.
I would like to know that.
How many do you think it is?
We're up there.
Yeah, how many times do you think you have nutted, bro?
I love how that's the question. We just go to this.
Yeah.
I would say I'm an outlier.
I feel like maybe every guy.
I'd say we've put in 10,000 hours.
Masters of your craft. Masters of our craft.
Master of the craft.
I don't know, man.
Dude, when Taylor and I first met, we were talking about jerking it. And she's like, how fast do you think you could do it yourself? I was like, under a minute. And I put it to the test.
With her watching?
No, I went in the bathroom.
Oh.
That'd have been kind of cool, though. 56
Did
seconds.
TMI. Were you allowed to get yourself hard first?
Brother, that thing. Yeah.
He said that
I'm hard right now.
That thing stays hard.
Nah.
The part of the show where everybody
What
leaves.
do we want to know? What's your stat?
I don't know. Do you guys have any?
I have one actually. Like how many times you've pooped? How many beers you've drank?
Why you say pooped like that?
I know. It's like his boob comment that one time. Like, hey,
Boobies.
There's a lot of boobies in that
Pooped.
movie.
How many times you've taken a shit?
There you go. Yeah.
That sounded cooler.
I have one.
JP's always got fire ones, too.
No, I would like to know how many people I've met
It's
my
a
whole
fire
life.
one.
I think that'd be cool.
What do you think your number is?
Let's see. I have 4,000 Facebook friends. What would my number be?
How many people do you think you meet in a year? Yeah, what do you mean meet? Like at the live shows?
Shake their hand, introduce.
Yeah,
Just met though, not remembered.
right.
I think you got to be
There
close
was a
to a mil.
stat on like
A million?
I think so. Think about college, bro.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking more like, I was really thinking probably like 15K.
Oh, no shot.
But
You're
yeah,
easily
when
six.
you,
easily
you
six
bring up
figures.
college though, like that's
Yeah.
a good point.
You bring up college, trips with your friends. Hey, what's up? I'm JP. How many
Yeah.
times have you said that in your life? That'd be a good stat
I mean,
to
the
know.
meet and greet last week, there was 30 people there.
True.
Met all them.
Yeah, I met all them.
Boom.
My engagement party, a lot of people I have never met before.
Yeah,
Your
could
wedding.
be up there.
There's gonna be a lot of people you've never met before.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if there's a criteria on like positively impacted, like knowing how many people you impacted. I think it would be cool to know.
Taking a step further
Called Instagram followers.
on yours, JP, is how many murderers I've met.
Ooh, yeah, that would be
that'd be a
interesting.
crazy
That's a
stat to
good
know.
one.
That's good.
How
They say you walk by like 8.
how many killers you've met?
How many
Oh.
people who have committed murder?
That's a good one.
Thanks, dude. 2 good ones. Don't forget the cum one.
Yeah, can't forget the cum one. I'm just piggybacking. I think those are great ones. The positively impacted.
Well, give
the
us
people.
something. Give us something.
Bro, my brain's not operating.
How many
at that
times
level
you
right
made your
now.
kids laugh?
Yeah. How many slices of pizza you eat?
How many times you picked up your phone?
How many blizzards I've eaten?
Oh,
How many PB&Js I've had?
yeah. How many crackers with peanut butter you've had as dinner?
That number would probably be like
10,000.
none. Crackers for dinner would probably be maybe 20 to 30.
Mega cap.
Whatever number he said, you were going to say.
Yeah, no
that,
matter
didn't
what
you?
I said, you were good. No, honestly,
That was a
it's
premeditated
not that
mega
much,
cap.
Not that high. PB&Js though, that's pretty high.
What about how many times you've said a curse word? Yeah. Like just a random one, like the or like. That would go crazy. That would go crazy. Or God.
Will is just in a blender, not being able to think of
We just pop it
No,
off
I
a
just
bunch
keep,
of-
I keep. You guys keep delivering one, and all I do is think off of that one. There's no original thought coming to my head right now.
as his life. How many
Yeah.
original thoughts you've ever had?
0.
What about you, G? What about you, Jack?
Maybe like I wanted to do how many concerts, but that seems just like a pretty standard number. But maybe like how many minutes of music you've listened to, or how many songs you've listened to in your whole life.
How many dollars you've gambled in your life overall?
Now, when you say, are you talking like when you put money out just on the table, or the money you've amassed the whole time?
Money on the table.
How much you think you've done?
In the last year?
Yeah, I mean that's basically your gambling career. Yeah.
I bet it's up there. It might be 7 figures.
Because other than that, you just do kind of like the,
Definitely
you know,
has.
like the boys trips where you're just you're ready to lose a certain amount of money, so you're there until it happens. Basically.
Yeah. And also, like, if you think about just playing, like when Jack and I go to Vegas, we'll be sitting at the table for probably 10 hours. More. Some days. And you're just sitting there
On
betting.
an easy day.
You win one, you lose one. That's, let's say you bet $100. That's $200 right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, it's got probably 7 figures in the last year.
Yeah. I mean, because you've won that much.
How many steps you taking?
Ooh, that's a good one.
How many miles you've ran? Mine would be low.
Might be low
What about
too.
how much?
Well, I think about the football games you've played your whole life, and you're running at those times.
Now that you say that,
What about how much weight you've lifted as a combined total?
Overall,
just that-
Yeah.
that's a good one. Man, hit us in the comments. What's the stat you would want to know? Good question. Good question. Good job, Benjamin.
Thank God, Benjamin.
Thank God for Benny.
Shout out, no free shout out. You guys got some?
We shall.
JP, kick it off, brother.
I gotta pee.
All right, my shout out, no free shout out. It's funny because Wynn had her moment, but I went to the Preds game on Friday, and there's nothing better than the fan cam when it gets on to people. I feel like it's the most genuine form of happiness that you just see from everyone.
Yeah.
The camera gets on a little kid, their face lights up. They go crazy. It goes on an adult, they light up. Even the ones that don't like it, they still smile because deep down they do like it.
Yeah.
And so
Which
I
it's
just
like, hey, let your inner kid out.
let it out.
Don't be too cool for school.
Yeah, so the fan cam, and it hits at every sporting event. So shout out to the fan cam.
Shout out to the fan cam. Mitch, you got one?
It is such a genuine reaction.
So this weekend I was moving, like I said earlier, with so like thank you for letting me use your truck again. But also my shout out, no free shout out, is when you finally do move and you're done with the process and like you have everything settled, like that feeling of like, all right, this is my place now, and like you're all that stress of moving all of your shit is just done. All right, this is it. This is my where I live, where I habitate now. So that I'm looking forward to that feeling.
Does that? Oh, you're looking forward to. I was gonna say, does that happen quick for you? Because sometimes I'm like, what? There's other stuff that's not done that we still gotta figure out. That's small.
Yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of small stuff like left. Like I enjoy moving to like being in a different spot, but the process of moving all your shit,
Yeah.
I hate that. Like, I mean, I'm sure everybody feels that
Everybody
way.
hates that
But
shit, dude.
like, I'm looking forward to being like, all right, this is where I live now.
Did you throw away a lot of stuff?
I got rid of a lot of clothes, and I like the stuff that's still in my apartment now is just literally just random shit. So I just like trying to get rid of some of that stuff because Fowl is already done moving. He doesn't have a lot of stuff, and it makes me feel like I'm a hoarder because I have a shit ton of stuff. But
Let it go, man.
yeah, I know.
I bet that's a benefit too of like moving is you just start getting rid of a lot of stuff that
And
you've been
yeah.
meaning to for the longest time. You just never have.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
My shout out goes to, I guess, winning the approval of your friends' parents. I had friends' parents in town this weekend, and they're here for the marathon. One of my friends, Sydney, ran it, and so 2 sets of parents are in town, and you have that like first meeting where it's like you don't know how the interaction's gonna go, if they're cool, if they're gonna approve of you, especially when you have like tattoos and stuff. You like meet the dad, and you're like I got a nose ring, but I say yes sir, that type of mentality. And so we saw them a handful of times over the weekend, and by the end of it, it felt like we were all just like good friends and we're just having a blast together. So shout out to the Chances and the Warshashevskis. So it's fun when you kind of like find a little bonding point between the parents and your friends. You've never met them before, so I always like that.
Love that. You got one, brother?
Yeah, I got one. It's going to be a shout out to when you can successfully stick it to the man. I recently had to battle my current landlord over a situation where they're asking us to move out sooner than our lease is. So I kind of share some of those stresses, but eventually got my way by putting my foot down.
Oh.
And I will be able to pay movers. So sorry, Mitch, I don't have those stresses, but yeah, shout out to when you can just kind of dish it back to somebody who's trying to take advantage of you.
Now, was it like a confrontational put your foot down, or you were methodically?
You guys would be proud. I handled this one perfect.
Because I'm saying a frustrated G is not a G you want to be in a conversation.
Handled it like you handled that
Yeah.
Uber ride back from Alabama, back to the hotel.
Yeah, why don't you tell the people about that when I'm done?
I will.
No, so long story short, living in this house, I understand that by the end of the lease, there is a chance that they're going to want to sell the house. They call me in March to tell me that they're not going to renew the lease. That's fine. My lease is through the end of August. They call me April 1st to tell me they need me out by the end of May. So then I try to explain the inconvenience they're putting me in and that I would like the security deposit back in full guaranteed. And they're given like the whole, well, if the house is in the right thing, I was like, well, then I'll stay till the end of my lease. They're like, well, we really need to hit this window to sell. It's like, trust me, I get what you need, but you need to play ball with me a little bit. It was very even kill. They did not want to have anything in writing. And so that helped me not, get too intense in the conversation.
Are they paying for your movers?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you're getting the
Nice.
deposit back?
Yeah.
Nice. Let's
So-
Well done, G.
Stick it to the man, Neosis.
Yeah, bro. Solid. It's
Yeah.
negotiate win all around.
Oh yeah. I would send them something and they'd be like, "Can you call me?" I was like, "No." I know what. If I did call them, it was like, "Hey, I need you to respond in writing."
Right.
So, but we
Love
got it.
that,
We
man.
got it done.
I'm excited. Well, I don't want to oversell this shout out. It's a very simple one, but it happened when we were in Chicago because obviously we get back to our rooms around 11. We got to wake up for an early flight. But my shout out, no free shout out, goes to when your room is close to the elevator. I was in room 814, literally right when I get off the elevator, it's right there. And obviously it only takes like a minute or two to walk to your room. But when you're walking long lengths, you're just thinking like you go down one hallway, around the corner, go down another one. You see that your room is down another corner. It's just like, God, you got to make a trip down to the elevator. But when your room is right there by the elevator, the convenience factor of leaving your room, popping right on the elevator. And then when you get back, you're right to your room, getting in bed as fast as you can. It's a simple luxuries in life, boys.
Time.
Yeah.
Only thing you can't get back.
Yeah, man. So shout out, no free shout out to your room being close to the elevator.
Hell yes. My shout out's going to be, obviously, I got to go to Win. and yesterday, but it's really about when I picked her up and the big smile on her face that she like truly have her having a core memory. My shout out goes to core memories.
Yeah.
And having good ones with your old man. And that is, it was the best, dude. It was truly the best. And that's my shout out for shout out.
That's awesome. Wholesome. That's a wholesome.
I have
shout-out.
one that I think all of us will agree on, but shout out to Clump.
Yeah.
Dude's been an absolute grinder for us.
One of our social
you.
media guys, one of our social media producers, Jeremy Klump, he has accepted a job with Yahoo Sports. So we were fired up for him. Just an absolute grinder. This dude, we were his fourth job, yeah? He had a full-time job, 2 kind of contracted out jobs, 3 with ours. And has just worked his dick off. Lost 100 pounds over the last year. And he's now catching a break and getting a big-time opportunity with Yahoo Sports. So shout out Jeremy Klump, man. He's an absolute soldier.
Dude, from day one to how long has he been with us? 2 years?
I think two football seasons.
Yeah.
2 football seasons.
Yeah.
The first time I even saw Klump in person was at Beer Olympics.
Beer Olympics last year, yeah.
Yeah. But dude, the dude is just constantly grinding, getting after it.
Yeah.
He's getting paid the way he deserves to get paid. We're gonna miss him. But man, what a stud.
Yeah. Shout out
R.I.P.
Klump. Love you, Klump.
Love you, Klump.
Your hair may grow fast, but after going to Sport Clips haircuts, you will wish it grew even faster. That's because Sport Clips has the best seats in hair. And that may or may not be because they happen to be right in front of the TVs playing sports all day long, every day. We know that watching sports while getting a haircut sure beats watching a reflection and getting a haircut. Or talking to the cats next to you, which is why at Sport Clips, every day is clippers and curveballs, high tops and Hail Marys, and even waves and wickets. At Sport Clips, you can check in with the pros in men's hair and totally check out with pure, uninterrupted relaxation. So come watch an endless stream of sports on TV while getting an awesome haircut. Sport Clips. It is a game changer. We can get to our interview. We got to go to the University of Alabama last week. If you guys haven't watched already, we had Tyler Booker on, who's an offensive tackle for Alabama. We had on Jalen Milroe, who's the quarterback for Alabama, and we got to also sit with Coach DeBoer, who came from Washington, and we talked with him about succeeding, obviously, arguably the greatest college football coach of all time, Nick Saban. We talk a lot about his transition from Washington, going from that national title loss to getting the job with Alabama, some of the culture wrinkles he's bringing in Alabama. I can already foresee a headline coming out about, hey, they're playing music now. They seem a little bit more loose at Alabama as the culture. You can see some stuff already being created out of that. But he talks about some of the new things that he's bringing in Alabama, what got him the job, succeeding Nick Saban, and how, in those interviews with the players, we asked them about how it's been in spring ball with Coach DeBoer. So check those out. You guys are going to love this conversation with Coach DeBoer. He was all time with the boys. But yeah, man, and shout out to the University of Alabama for letting us in. I know that we've tried for a couple times, and usually it's a tough place to get in. So we thank you guys for allowing us to see your facilities. A+ all around. Like, you guys crushed it. You guys, Tyler Booker gave us a tour. It was incredible. Again, you guys are going to enjoy this interview. So without further ado, big hugs, tiny kisses. Make sure, Alabama fans, if you are new here, make sure you're subscribed to the boys. Leave comments throughout the episode. But yeah, Coach DeBoer. Yeah.
I can't help but ask. I mean, the dad hat. Is there something to that?
Yeah, man, you need some dad gear?
You want some dad gear?
It's just like our.
I'm new. I'm still.
So when Will and I met,
I'm sure it was something with the.
When Will and I met, there's been a couple like dad things.
Pick the mic up.
When I signed I guess we're starting.
Yeah, you can get some good content.
Look at Delaney directed over here. Oh, let's go with Delaney. So the dad hat. There's been like a couple when I signed a contract with the Titans, I wore this Boss Hog outfit, all white, and I said, "Daddy's here." And so a couple people in Nashville were calling me dad for a little bit. And then when Will and I met,
that's the origin story of the dad merch.
That's how it started. That's how I'm telling the story how it started.
Yeah.
And then when
this story, origin stories, my first time hearing it.
the dad, you remember that, right, Delaney? That's right. Yeah. I love how
I know that is a moment in time.
There's a moment in time that I think of myself when I look at the dad hats. I think, wow, I really did that.
yeah.
And so when Will and I first met, I had a very young daughter, and then
The bean,
and then now I have 2 kids. Will's got a daughter, so we came out dad hats, man, because it's a culture. People don't know.
I love it.
There's all these dumb jokes about, well, people know because they have dogs. You don't understand what it's like to have a kid till you actually have a kid. So it's like a nice little group.
It is the best, man.
You're more than willing to be in the group if you want. We'll send you a couple of hats.
I'm all in.
Yeah?
I'm all in. I got 2 girls.
Girl dad, perfect. We have girl dad
We have
merch.
girl dad
we go.
hats.
We have
Yeah.
girl
There we
dad
go.
merch, so we'll get you hooked up.
When you were, let's actually, by the way, Derek's calling me back right now. Is he? Yeah. I wanted to make sure because Jack did
So
video that.
Taylor had a tough loss. Derek was texting and Taylor tried FaceTiming and he didn't answer Taylor's phone call, but he's responding and texting back and forth the whole time while Taylor's trying to call him.
It's a
But
tough
no
look.
call.
7
Yeah.
years, teammates. 7 years.
Yeah.
I tried to pawn it off always at OTAs, trying to get his Raven friends
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Where do you want to start? Oh, I want to start with your 2 daughters. When you had 2 girls, did you think maybe one more I'll go for a boy?
No, honestly, no. I think once we got the younger one, I think we were all good. Certainly would have been fine with boys. And looking back on it, though, and now being a football coach, I think it's actually a blessing. You know, having no pressure on any boy and having to play football and just enjoying who they are. And you know, man, they love the game and they love being around the team and all that kind of stuff. And they both have totally different personalities and totally different likes, interests, but it's awesome being a girl dad.
Were you like myself? I was let down when I saw the pink come from the cake that we were having a girl.
Oh, hey, not only we,
That's true.
No,
Yeah.
his wife came in with a cake at the bus. And when he saw that color, there was no hiding it. It was true disappointment. in his
There was
face.
no
Shout
doubt
out
that I was
Rue.
going to get.
It's
There's
gonna
no
be
doubt that
awesome.
I was going to
You're
get a
gonna love
boy.
it.
But as an athlete,
Yeah.
which I can't wait to ask you about because you were a stud at Sioux Falls, were you hopeful for for the first kid? Were you hopeful that it was a boy?
I honestly didn't have feelings one way or another. I really didn't.
Better man than me.
Yeah.
Better man than me.
Yeah, very politically correct answer.
Yeah.
Strong,
Yeah.
well thought out
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
There. He's not going to make anybody mad with that one.
Yeah.
I think it was meant to be. That's the way I look at it. So
You have a few records coming up as a wide receiver. Do you keep a highlight tape close by just to let the boys know that you can dabble with the best of them?
no, I don't. It's nothing like what these guys are here at this level. They would turn that on and have a few laughs. So I'm proud of what we did, but as a team, but that level is a little different than what we're
Record
doing.
in yards, receptions, touchdowns. You
Stud.
played some semi-pro ball as well. What as you were going through, as an athlete going the semi-pro ball route, in that moment in time, are you sitting there, are you trying to gather tape to try to get to the next level, or after you had a couple of years, you're like, okay, I need to start making a pivot and going into the next thing?
Yeah, are you talking the football piece?
Yeah, football piece.
Yeah, from with the football, it was just indoor football there in Sioux Falls. Enjoyed a couple of years, kind of right there at home, and I was already on into coaching high school ball and kind of onto
While
those
you're
type of
playing?
things while I was playing. So that was just a kind of a side hobby, to be honest with you, during those 2 years, and got into the college coaching there at University of Sioux Falls, and then kind of had to put everything else on the back burner and move on with the career.
Obviously, like coaching, you've done an amazing job. You're at one of the most prestigious universities of all time, but playing and realizing that, okay, this is the road's coming to an end of my playing career. Like, how was that transition for you? I know you were coaching already, but was there ever that point where you're like identity crisis or anything like that?
No, I don't think it was at that level. I enjoyed the relationships. I enjoyed the friends. I knew that there was definitely a ceiling, and I had probably maxed out that ceiling as a football player myself. And so, great times, but it was time to move on.
Yeah. Proud though.
You've been wildly successful as a head coach. In the NAIA ranks 3 national titles. I think you were 65-3 as a head coach with Washington. I mean, a 2-time coach of the year. I think it was 25-3 with Washington. What do you feel like you've cultivated, whether it's values, philosophies, over the years to have this much success?
I always go back to when I was a player at Sioux Falls. We were 2-8 my freshman year, and we were 14-0 and national champs my senior year. And I knew what the culture looked like, what it felt like as a player the first year, and also what it took to get there over those 4 years. And I always just remember that. And it was the relationships. It was the, just the consistency we got from the people that were in the building or on the team, and just the work that it put in. And so it was fun, which allowed, and I enjoyed the process, which, I think our entire team did. And so I try to make that what we have here, and wherever I've been, try to make it an environment or facilitate an atmosphere that's full of energy, that, you can find the driven people, let them go do their thing, whether it's coaches or players, and they enjoy each and every moment. They enjoy everyone that's a part of it. And just let's go have some fun. Let's cut it loose. Let's make the most of every opportunity we get.
Turning back to your success at Washington, you were the only coach to go 11 or more wins in consecutive years. And then you get the call from the Crimson Tide. You just competed for a national championship. What was your thought process when that phone call did come?
Yeah, that was the timing of everything, I think, is what really makes it extra hard through all of this, because my time at Washington is going to be, for me and my family, probably the best time of our life. Those 2 years there, and the way we were embraced from a community aspect to the team to just how much fun it was working with our staff. It was a special time that I know we all are going to cherish forever as a family and individually as well. But, just the opportunity to come here to Alabama, knowing this program and what the history was all about, and getting a chance to meet Greg Byrne and just really hearing the vision, understanding the interests and how excited he'd be to have, me leading the football program. That meant a lot. And, got a chance maybe over 24 hours to do a little bit of just kind of investigating and kind of really thinking it through and talking to a couple people that I'm close with. But it just felt like, this is something that was too good of an opportunity. And it's just been an awesome experience here these first 3 to 4 months.
Is that how quickly you had to make that decision, was 24 hours?
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much had to make the decision if I was offered the job. That's really how it comes down to, and, and I understand why, in just the environment we're in, college football, the timing of it, we're talking the middle of January, retaining a roster. I just, the urgency that it needed to be to keep the program moving forward. I completely understood why, Greg Byrne told the team, give me 72 hours, and, that was that urgency. If I was going to be the football coach, I knew getting down here and being around these guys and just being nonstop and trying to build these relationships and keep things together the first 2 weeks while I was here, while I'm building the staff, was going to be critical for our immediate and long-term future.
Were there nerves involved in the interview process? Like, you're going, you have your success at Washington, you're going after this Alabama job. There's always that kid in us that's like, you go to the next stage, you go to the next thing. Were there any nerves involved in going after this job?
No, not at all, because I had a great place where I was at. Really it was more about making sure that this was going to be a good fit, that this is going to be a place I could see, myself, being successful, and, people that I was going to be enjoying the journey with, from Greg Byrne to others here in the athletic department at the university. So, in all honesty, no, because I was at a great place. And so, it was just a matter of really thinking it through. And, I think the piece that I really tried to make sure of was I wasn't getting caught up in the emotions of the ups and downs of what we had just been through with the season, and trying to really take a step back in a short amount of time and have some perspective on everything, because, we had such an amazing year, and, on a Monday night in a national championship, you're the wind's taken out of your sails, and, you're trying to support your team and your staff. But I just wanted to make sure I didn't caught up in that, and, taking a step back as much as I could and in the moment was important.
You've obviously had a lot of experience being an athlete yourself. You set records, you go to the NAIA, you win national titles there, you uptick into Division I college football realm, you win a Pac-12 title, you take a team to a national championship. In sports, like as athletes, coaches, everybody in the performance world, you're always, you're moving up the ladder. You're coming in to succeed somebody like arguably the greatest coach of all time in Nick Saban. How has your experience moving up, in your journey, helped you kind of not see these expectations? You come into a seat like Alabama and succeeding Nick Saban. Is there anything with that you think about?
Well, I think my journey in general is just something I'm super proud of because I've always focused on just where I'm at. And really, it's never been about getting to an Alabama, or it was never even about getting even to a Washington or Fresno State. I mean, go on and on. It was about just coaching ball, loving the moment we're in, raising a family and doing it with other people that had the same like-minded interests as I had in all those areas, both football and family. And so, just enjoying that journey, enjoying that ride. But I think, coming here, I just can't say enough about, again, being embraced by the community. Coach Saban, he's so respectful in how he's trying to handle, and he wants to see the program. You can just tell he wants it to be great, and he wants it to continue to go this direction, and us continue to build on all the things he's put in place. And so he's almost been over the top respectful, trying to keep that distance. And I want him to always know that, hey, this is our program, because whoever set foot in these buildings, and that's alumni, that's former staff members, everyone who made this place great, are always going to feel I want them to be a part of it.
When you play with other Alabama players, it's like they've taken a drug or something like that. They're so obsessed with Alabama. Truly, there's literally times I walk into the cafeteria and Rashawn Evans and Derrick Henry are just pointing at people. You lost to Alabama. You lost to Alabama.
A lot of pride. Yes.
They truly have, of any other team, the most school pride I've ever seen anybody else. And so now, like Will just said, you're taking over for a guy that is arguably probably the greatest college football coach of all time. You're walking into a room where guys, when they commit to this school, they're expecting to win national championships. Where they don't argue about how many games they win. They argue about how many national championships they win. Oh, you only got 2. I got 3.
Which class was better, yeah.
Yeah, which class was better. Was there any point for you where you sit down, you sit in the nice chair that Nick Saban once sat in, and you go, oh fuck, this is I mean, it is, there's got to be a level of this is a lot of responsibility, and you're walking into a room of these guys signed up to be coached by Nick Saban, and now you have come in, you're like, we're going to run this is going to be our offense, and keeping these kids around, especially with NIL, there's got to be a lot of tremendous pressure on that.
Yeah, I mean, you know what you signed up for, and I guess it just always goes back to everyone's human, and I think that being around these guys, you understand the reasons why they came here into this program, and it's Alabama football. It has a lot to do with Coach Saban, the guys and their commitments to being here, but they are just so proud of this program, and they want to be the ones that carry on the legacy of this place. It's been fun being around the alumni that do have that pride. I feel that, and it's not an ego thing; it's pride, and. These guys that are in this program that chose to stay here over the last couple months, they believe in this place and they know what we can accomplish. I have an appreciation that they understand that it's really about them and them sticking together. And the ones that stayed, man, they are resilient. They're hard-headed in some ways because we got to win a championship. We got a chip on our shoulder, and people think we're going to fall off because of the transition and all that. So it's been fun locking arms with them and helping them realize their goals and the reasons that they came here, and help us through and make this progress.
Jalen Milroe was quoted by saying, you proved that you're the right man for the job every single day during spring ball. What has your relationship been like with him?
He's special. He just has a heart of gold. He wants it so bad, both personally and also for this program. He's takes on the responsibilities of being the quarterback at Alabama with such grace. He's there for others. He's willing to give as much as he can. Sometimes I'm just always checking in with him to make sure he's good, because he gets pulled in a lot of different directions. But in the end, he loves getting out there. He loves the game of football. I mean, we've talked about that a number of times. He just loves everything that surrounds it, from the teamwork and the leadership that is asked of him to, just working on the daily skills. He loves the film. He just loves so much about the game itself. And, it's fun being around guys that are willing to put in all the things and make the sacrifices needed to go be great.
When you walk into the team meeting room for the first time, what was your message to the team when you first took the job?
That's a great question, Will.
Yeah, that was Friday night, and I knew that this was a group that had been through a lot just in the past couple of days. I don't remember exactly what that message was. It was a whirlwind for me and my family as well. Just a few hours earlier, I'd pretty much been offered the job. Been through my emotions in regard to everything of Washington. Still, certainly, hadn't even come close to getting through that. But knew that the team just needed to hear that I was excited about joining them, meeting them where they're at, and getting to know them, and appreciated their patience, because with all the noise that was around the program and all the noise that they were probably hearing individually on being pulled in different places and going different directions. They just, their belief in Alabama was something you could tell and feel right away. And there's a connection with a few of the guys, and I think those guys quickly just, held the team in place. There were some staff members here that did a great job, but that was a meeting, I think, just to get in there and tell them, how excited I was to be a part of this special place.
I have another one.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask him about his very first phone call when he heard that he got the job.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was kind of going in that direction, so it wasn't necessarily a surprise, but it was, I think it was just more about being honored to have that responsibility to be the head coach here. It's just something, again, I won't take lightly, and had thought through, the night before, just if this opportunity came up, talking through with my family, what that would all mean, and, the moving and the life changes and stuff that we'd be going through. So, but from a program standpoint, it's just such an honor and a privilege.
I want to talk about the big dogs for a second, the Hogs. How has it been for them transitioning in this offense? Because they obviously ran a lot of zone read with Jalen in the backfield last year, but it seems like you guys, from what I was told in the small little snippet, is you guys are going more zone, outside zone type stuff. How have they been picking that up? Because for me, transitioning from like a duo gap scheme type offense into like the zone was at one point I wanted to quit. I was like, this is horrendous. And then quickly I was like, this might be the best offense you can possibly be in.
Yeah.
How have they handled that transition?
I think it's been great. I think that really it's not that far off from what they did before. It's just a matter of where your tendencies, where your priorities, how many reps you're practicing a certain concept versus another compared to how they did it before. We certainly got to use Jalen's skill set and, have him be a threat with the ball as much as possible. And so, I don't feel like there's as many changes as maybe, some of the guys. I think, it's been seamless. Coach Cap has done a great job. He's well versed in all the schemes that we've done before, as well as being able to help the guys translate things, that they had done technically, language wise in our offense. Just that translation. He's super, super sharp, and his relationship with these guys, you can see it coming out as the spring's gone on. And just how much better they got from practice 1 to practice 15. I think it's probably the position group that, if I had to pick one or two, they would certainly be in that mix as far as the improvements that they've shown here in the spring.
When you're recruiting guys, like everybody's got all the tangible things, the surface level things. What are some intangibles or some values or character things that you look for, like when you're recruiting guys to a place like Alabama?
Yeah, I think there's, toughness is always going to be something that I think is just critical. What doesn't matter where you're at. I think the game was meant to be played that way. The championship teams have that mental toughness, that physical toughness that you have to have. But I think there's also the discipline, accountability, along with just, a personality that kind of like wide-eyed, just excited to learn, excited to grow, just feel like they haven't arrived, and that there's not a ceiling that they're looking at, and they're far from it if they think there is. And so it's just a matter of growth mindset, and guys who want to come in here and be a part of something, not just it's all about me. And
right.
So we always talk about in terms of our non-negotiables being family, accountable, and toughness. And so, I think I hit on all three of those, and just doing it the right way, doing it with class, integrity, and also, while you're here, making sure we get that degree as well.
A couple fun questions.
You got a couple?
I got a couple fun ones.
Okay, give him a couple. Oh, hang on. Let me go one more.
Serious boy?
I
might pick up one too.
more. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
What traditions of Alabama that you've learned about that you're keeping and keeping part of the program? And what are some things culture-wise, tradition-wise, do you feel like you're bringing to Alabama?
That's
a really good question. And I think that everything, I don't want to say every day I learn something, but I think, there's been many times you're like, okay, I think I got this. I think I understand this. I understand that, what's important, what's been done for decades, what's been done just maybe over the last year, and understanding, this sounds like something they really like, but is it really a tradition, And so, I think guys, just the pride they have in some of the simple things, how they look and, how we practice and, tucking shirts in and for workouts and practice. I mean, those are just things that just the pride of the place that come out. Obviously there's the walk, that we had, and that's special. And, seeing those guys do that A-Day was really cool. But, the fourth quarter program is something these guys just really believe in. And so a lot of these traditions are things that just they're so accustomed to. And I could go on, but, keeping some of those things and still bringing in the things that I think have been good. If it adds to our culture. And it's something that, the guys might enjoy, we're going to balance that between, hey, these are really important aspects of Alabama football. And these are some of the things that have worked for me. And, I'm not married to a lot of things, but I think it's more about the feel and the energy and what can we bring to add to what's already here.
Did I read something about Thunderstruck?
Yeah, that's with the out in or on game day, the walk. So
is that you or was that a Bama thing? That's Bama. That's
thing,
Bama.
yeah.
I mean that goes hard.
Yeah.
Thunderstruck goes hard.
It is a good song.
Yeah.
It's a classic football song.
Yeah.
What's a core value? Not a core value, but what is like a non-negotiable thing that you've brought with you to Alabama as far as like a culture deal? This is how we're going to go about business.
Honestly, there's probably the guys would probably say there's a lot of things.
What would the players say? Something a wrinkle that's been thrown in.
Well, I can think of something. The one that made some waves early in the spring was, we play music in practice, so that was something that hadn't been done before. So, not that I feel like you have to, but I think there's a lot of benefits that can come from it. Trying to, first of all, the juice and energy, the vibe that it can create, but also I think there's ways you can utilize it for even, distractions,
right?
And so, there's a lot of distractions on game day, right? I mean,
Yeah.
100,000 people, there's music playing in the stadium. And so I think there's a lot of things and I tell these guys, I'm intentional on telling them the things that, maybe I'm trying to do someday when I feel like they're even super locked in, just cranking it up a little bit louder to see if they can work through that and, listen a little harder, communicate a little better, hand signals and stuff. You always practice noise stuff, throughout the week, especially, home and away, depending if you're offense and defense. But, those are just some of the things that I think are benefits of that. That was something that hit the waves a little bit. And
yeah.
Our guys enjoyed it, and again, it's been a positive. I think.
Dude, as players, I think we can all agree.
The music is the booth.
The music
Yeah.
is the music is.
Are
such
you
a good
taking requests, or is this a set playlist we're not messing with it?
There's we have specific people, and it's been transferred on. Robbie, my guy from Washington, he started it, and I'm like, we got to have the clean versions. We got to have the,
It's like, oh,
all
Coach
of that. We
D's
got
on the
fans, we got
Hawks
people,
again.
we got
Yeah,
media,
yeah.
we got around practice, but that, and I think he's kind of pushed it on. So they'll certainly take requests. And at some point, I'm sure they'll get to themes of the day or themes of the week and so forth. So
You had mentioned something about tucked in shirts and basically details of how you operate around the facility, on the practice field and everything else. Do you feel like you got those You feel like you had some of those ideas when you talk all the way back to I was on a 2-8 team, losing team, and then I was part of a national championship team when you played, like how those locker rooms look differently and what it takes to win. And even if I might sound ridiculous saying you have to have your tucked in shirt, but there's a way, I promise you, if you just trust me, these are the things that it takes over and over consistently to get to the top.
You got to think Saban's a tucked in shirt guy.
Got to.
Yeah, and it's great.
Nothing's changed.
But being
there.
a part, I mean, we've all been a part of bad locker rooms. We've been a part of good locker rooms and what good culture looks like and bad culture looks like.
We weren't allowed to have earrings.
Yeah.
Well, I think is what all these things. Whenever you're talking about, those type of, you call it non-negotiables or whatever they are. I think it always goes back to pride in who we are and that you're willing to be a part of a team. And it's not a sacrifice, but man, looking good for us is important. And this is one of the things that we think is about looking good and looking unified and looking the way you're supposed to when you're representing Alabama, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's on the practice field or on game day, and so, what your facility looks like and are you picking up after yourself? Those are classy things you should do as just a human being.
Right.
And it shows that, the simple things, we're not going to overlook those and just be out there and focus just on the football part. And, I know many programs and many people have said the same thing, and I truly believe it. How you do anything is how you do everything. And those things right there and how you treat people, we're on the road, I have no doubt that these guys are going to, travel well, represent themselves and our program in a first-class way, home way, wherever they're at on their own. Doesn't have to just be when we're together as a team, but those values come out in those type of actions and those type of things that you feel are important to your program.
How you do anything is how you do everything.
It's a phenomenal quote. Phenomenal quote. Unless you want some good.
I'm excited to hear I'm excited to hear fun
I'm nervous
questions.
about my fun questions.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't want to.
I mean, I'm nervous too. When you say you're nervous,
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
okay,
mean,
that makes three of us right now.
Yeah.
Just got to pass down the line here.
No.
Now that the awkward silence is really important. Now.
They're just playing everything out.
Because I don't want to be I'm not going to be nasty, but I want to talk about. I do want to talk about Michigan a little bit, if that's okay. But you've said there's pain there. And I don't want to go in a direction that this has been a fun interview. It's been a good time.
Yeah,
and I just don't want to ruin the interview. So I'll
please
pivot.
don't ruin this for us.
I'll pivot. And we'll just talk about the SEC for a second. All right. A lot of bad dogs out here. A lot of strong dogs out here. A lot of strong head coaches. If it really came down to it and you had to fight these head coaches, do you think you're losing to any of the head coaches?
Man, I'm not even going there.
All right, that's too much. Okay. We won't do any of it.
Smart enough.
That's smart.
Smart.
Didn't work.
You
Go ahead,
pick
Will, your
one. I
turn.
mean, they can go a different direction.
Yeah.
I was thinking, who's a head coach, and this, out of respect for the head coach, like who's a head coach you would love to obviously win the game, but you've obviously competed in your own journey to get to, Washington. Maybe it happened in Washington. Maybe it hasn't happened yet, but that you would, love to be across the sideline on, and you kind of pinch yourself like, yo, I'm coaching against so-and-so. And
I think a lot of those coaches are here. And I guess even just going back, the last 2 years, I have so much respect for, these coaches that have been doing it for many years, the coordinators working their way up, just very similar to the journey I've been on. And so I've stolen a lot of stuff, just like every coach does from everyone. We've watched the film, we've watched the, cut ups in the off season. And so, you learn what to do, maybe not what not to do sometimes, as far as like handling your team, publicly, socially, and all that. So there's a lot of these just are pretty much the coaches in this conference that have nothing but respect for. And, I know that every Saturday, you got to be at your best. And that's how it is, I think, at Alabama anyway. Everyone's going to bring their A game. We've had conversations about rivalries, and I've had a lot of teams and people that I know, and they felt like Alabama was their rival. Just because, it was such a big game each and every time that game was played. So I'm excited about, lining up and, being challenged to be my best each and every week against all these coaches.
Is there a coach that, as you're progressing through your learning curve as a an offensive coordinator, a head coach, whether it's a mentor or a coach out there that kind of jumped out at you when you're learning about situational ball and how to, if you saw somebody else doing it one way, you kind of dove into their tape all season long. That kind of helped you along the way.
I think, there's been coaches, especially when I was a coordinator and after I'd been a head coach for 5 years at small college. And, I think about the leadership aspect and how, Chris Creighton at Eastern Michigan was just, I just learned so much on how bringing a team together happened there. I think about Jeff Tedford and how, they were 1-11 before we got there. And it was, we're going to take our guys and we're going to maximize what they can be. And the next year, you're 10-4 and then 12-2, and really had nothing to do with bringing a bunch of portal guys in. It was taking who you had right there, believing in them, putting some structure and organization together. Some, offensively, I learned a lot, during those 2 years there. And then, Indiana, being thrown in the mix there with, just being part of the Big Ten and being challenged to be your best at the Power 5 level. And so, Tom Allen, he just, the passion he brought out stuck with me, and how he dove into the relationships with the guys. And so there's something at every place along the way. I think it's a lot of times the people you work with each and every day, the position coaches that I continue to learn from. I'm learning from something from our coaches right now, hired amazing staff. And to me, that's the key, is never stop learning, never stop growing.
You talk about your staff, Nick Sheridan. He and I played together in college. What have you seen from him?
From who?
Sheridan?
Nick, yeah.
Yeah, your OC.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him
played
in the
with him in
growth?
college?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I was a young boy.
Yeah.
He was like a senior.
Yeah.
He was a big dog.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him to make him the man for the job to be the OC?
Yeah, well, first of all, working backwards, he's done an amazing job this spring, just pulling everything together. He's more than ready for this opportunity. The cool thing about him is that he was patient. There's opportunities he certainly could have had over the last couple of years, because he is someone who is known as a very bright mind, understands the game on another level. But we had a chance to work together in 2019 at Indiana, and he, from an ego standpoint or just an unselfish standpoint, moved from quarterbacks to tight ends. And, for me to come in and coach quarterbacks, which I feel is a big piece of being an offensive coordinator, is being in that room every day. But learning and working with him, I remember just thinking how bright he was for considering, his age and how many years he had actually been at a high level of football already at that time. Then 2 more years at Washington, where again, he's just right there, brings a lot of ideas, brings a lot of just game planning thoughts, helping you pull everything together. It's details, but it's also big picture, all mixed in one. And then he's just such a great relationship builder. He's got great personality. Guys, I think, enjoy being around him. He leads in a way where he's firm. He's got his things that he feels strong about, but he also, enjoys, just the camaraderie and enjoys working together with the staff. And he's done an awesome job having the entire staff all feel a part of it, and that's, I think, been a big part of my success over the years, is having, the strengths of everyone and tapping into their strengths, be why we were successful, whether it's offensively or as a full team.
With guys that are working under you and you become such a cohesive group, especially with all the success that you've had, guys are eventually going to leave. They're going to go to, they're going to elevate themselves and try to become head coaches just like you. When you see yourself having the success you did at Washington and inevitably will have here, do you keep something in the back of your head, be like, all right, if this guy goes and I have these 2 guys in my head, is there always a constant game plan of a depth chart of who you would want to fill those spots?
Well, I mean, in a way, it kind of happened here already. Ryan Grubb was the offensive coordinator, at Washington with us, and coming here, and then got the opportunity to be with the Seattle Seahawks. And there are guys that I would love, I'm strong on trying to keep the continuity of your system. Of course, the people is where it all starts, but the continuity of the system. And I know offensively, that continuity of our system will always exist because it's the system that, we've built over many years now. But both sides of the ball, there certainly is a method. And I've done this at Fresno, did this at Fresno State, did this at Washington, where there's some depth to our staff. Many guys who have called games as coordinators at the Power 5 level on both sides of the ball. Guys who, you know, are just low ego, willing to come in, be part of it right now. And, you know, again, I hope we are so successful to where those opportunities come up for our staff. You know, that's how I got to the place where I'm at. And, you know, I'd be pretty hypocritical if I didn't say that, if I didn't want to root for these guys to get their opportunity someday as well.
Do you have a favorite post-game ritual after a win? Whether it's a post-game, I always love the post-game cigar, post-game beer, post-game milkshake, post-game burger,
Big sandwich.
something with the family.
Yeah.
Maybe indulge on a meal.
Yeah, it's always with the family. It's always, and you know, you play day games, you play night games, so it's never
Right.
the same. But you know, it's always with the family. You know, and if it's a day game, you'd love to have the staff over. And I think that's one thing I'm excited about here is just proximity and where we're all going to be living. You know, when you have that time, just continue to grow our group together. I'm really excited about that. But you know, I think you're so exhausted usually from a game and the things that go into it. Winning a football game at the college level is hard. I don't care where you're at. It takes everything, and you know, enjoying it for that little moment before you flip the Sunday morning and start it all over again. I think that's a big part of the process. So trying to take a deep breath and just enjoying what happened that day after a win is a big part of, I think, the process.
Think we feel good, man.
That
was
awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Incredible.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
you guys
much.
coming.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
you're
man.
all over the country, and really appreciate you guys coming to see us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
this
mean,
has
I was
been-
nervous about being here.
Yeah. I mean, you walk in the door and you look at a bunch of rings and watches
Just immediately.
from just 180 and you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
we're in the presence of greatness.
Yeah, you're in the Mecca. But
Yeah.
thank you
Appreciate
very
that.
much. Everybody's been awesome to us, and thank you for this interview.
Yeah.
It's been incredible.
We really do appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
and I
you
mean,
so much.
I appreciate that respect because I know where you guys played too. You know, and you know that says a lot about you guys. So thanks for coming to join us.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Coach, thank you, man.
Appreciate
And we'll
you.
hook you up
Well
with
tied.
dad
Well
merch.
tied.
We'll hook you
Yeah.
up with some dad
Throw
merch.
that
man.
stuff
I need
too.
it. I need it. I'll take it.